And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, we have ongoing drama surrounding Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, Terrence Bradley, Ashley Merchant, Donald Trump, everybody out there in Fulton County, Georgia. We got text messages. We got a lot. We'll talk about a little bit more a little bit later. Also, you have yet another woke judge, woke person, woke elected. What they say? Electeds of color. Yet another woke person, this time in Cook County, Illinois, Chicago, trying to take Donald Trump off the 2024 presidential primary ballot. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Gavin Newsom. You have this law that says minimum wage must be $20 per hour for certain fast food restaurants. One of the restaurants that falls up under that umbrella just happens to have the majority of its locations owned by one person, your friend, a billionaire, and you make an exemption for those restaurants. Is it a coincidence or not? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the Augusta mayor trying to downplay his city's status as a sanctuary city. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And again, I thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on tonight, and shout out to you guys who were here on the Thursday stream with me and Keisha King. If you guys have not seen that, please go check out the previous live. That was a good show about indoctrination and education. And she has a course that she wants to present to you guys about how we can go forward and try to make an impact on what's happening. How are you going to debrief your kids? How are you going to prepare your kids to go to public school, maybe even private school? I'm going to show you something a little bit later that lets you know it's not just about public school, K through 12, or even college. You're talking about some of the private Christian academies. It's a lot of woke stuff happening all over the place. And sometimes you don't know it until you know it, until your child's already been exposed to it. So if you guys have not seen that live, please go check it out. But there's a lot I want to get into. First things first, shout out to all the sponsors, and shout out to you guys, of course, for being the primary sponsor, for watching, for sharing, whatever you do. You guys are my primary sponsor, so thank you for watching. But before we get into today's topics and the videos that I have for you, shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the description, or just type in patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. I write an article for each video that I produce, so you're able to get full videos that I might not be able to show on YouTube. You're able to get sources from left, right, Republican, Democrat, national, international, local, whatever you need. I got it for you. You want to fact check me. You want to verify me. You want to prove me wrong, prove me right. Share it to your friends and your family. Everything will be right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com. Again, that's ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Also, go to my contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact, to find my email address, which, by the way, is contact@anthonyblogan.com. Very easy to find, very easy to remember. And if you don't remember, I'm easy to find on the Googles, on YouTube, wherever you are, I'm there. Go to the website, contact page. My email is there. My snail mail address is there. My UPS box is right on the website. Also, you have my other social media platforms, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, what am I talking about? Spotify. I'm talking about the podcast. I'm getting way ahead of myself. My other social media platforms, whether they be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff is right there on the contact page. All right. And if you're ever wondering if you're conversing with me or not, you know, the best way to do it is to cross-reference. Hey, this email looks kind of shady. All right. This email says, I live in Nigeria and I drive a taxi through completely no moving traffic all day long for no money at hotmail.com. That's probably not going to be ABL's address. If the address says I live in Lithuania and I weigh 100 million pounds at yahoo.com and I'm pretending to be ABL, that's probably not going to be me. Here's how it goes if you guys don't know, and I know I always say it, and the reason why I always do this is because I get emails from you guys still. I do this every stream, and every stream I get emails talking about, hey man, I thought that was you. I thought that you were commenting on my comment or replying to my comment on your video talking about email me here and call me on some 45-digit WhatsApp number, and then you would take my money and invest it into Bitcoin, foreign exchange. Listen, I don't know anything about Forex or Bitcoin or anything like that. So that's not me you're talking at. But here's how the whole thing goes. When I upload a video, usually on YouTube, but other spots as well, when I upload a video and one of you guys makes a comment under the video, someone will reply to your comment, and the person may have my picture. They may have stolen my picture. They may have a name that looks like my name or something. It looks like it's me if you're not really paying attention. You respond to it. Now they got you emailing them, sending them money, Apple iTunes, gift cards. Don't do this because you're getting scammed. Now, I did not tell you to get WhatsApp shade. That was not me. I know you're just playing. But seriously, you know what you can do on iTunes rather than getting gift cards and getting scammed in 2024? We don't have time to get scammed. 2024. Do not get the gift cards, huh? Do not get the gift card. Do not get the gift cards for a guy who sound like this, huh? That's not me. It's yours. Don't be idiot in 2024. Rather than getting the iTunes gift cards, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Google Play and hear my podcast, audio only. You want to hear it in your vehicle, on the way to work, on the way to play, just whatever you're doing around the house, cooking empanadas or whatever you got going on, pancakes, fried chicken. If you want to hear my podcast, audio only, it is available on those audio streaming platforms. You could just search ABL Live. I should pop right up. There's also links in the description. What I don't want you to do is give 1 red cent to these scammers. If you want to give to me, the website has options. This video right here has options, but don't go in the comments because that's not me. Alrighty. So shout out to you guys. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. We got a whole lot going on. Oh, we got a lot happening. Fani Willis. Now, I'm going to get to Fani Willis a little bit later, but I'm going to ask you guys for your opinion right now. Do you guys think that she's going to be taken off the case? Okay, matter of fact, I'm going to do a poll here, okay? I'm going to do a poll. Will Fani Willis be removed? Yes or no? I'm going to just put yes or no. I'll leave that poll up for a little while, and we'll get back to that a little bit later, okay? But so there was a hearing yesterday, and I think the judge said that he may decide within the next couple of weeks. I mean, the evidence is pretty compelling. We're going to get to all that a little bit later. We're going to get to a little bit later, but just so you guys understand what this poll is asking, Fani Willis, as you guys know, that's the Fulton County District Attorney. She is currently prosecuting Donald Trump and many others in the election interference case in Fulton County, accusing Trump of trying to steal the election. Not just Trump, but again, many other co-defendants, including a guy by the name of Michael Roman. Now, Michael Roman was able to discover some information about Fani Willis. Like, hey, Fani, well, your special prosecutor you hired is also your boyfriend, and he's married, and you're giving him a bunch of money that you shouldn't be giving them. You're getting kickbacks, allegedly, and the way you hired him went against all the rules. You're doing everything wrong. You're not reporting money you're getting, gifts you're getting. You're not hiring them correctly. So what's going on? That has become a whole big circus, and it's likely for Fani Willis to be removed. Now, if she's removed, what happens is the entire Fulton County DA's office is removed from the case. That means a neighboring county must pick it up. Now, this county needs to have the resources to be able to pay for this case. You're trying to prosecute the president of the USA. You're trying to make some precedent-setting thing happen. Now, it's only a few counties that could take it, really. First of all, you got to have the money. So I don't think you're really going to go beyond Atlanta, because that's where it allegedly happened, Fulton County, that area, right? So you probably won't go too far beyond Atlanta. And even if you could, no other place in Georgia has as much money as the Atlanta Metro. As far as I know, I don't think Valdosta has a bunch of money laying around, or Savannah, or Athens, which is about an hour away. We'll talk about Athens a little bit later. So Clayton County, which is right there, they already said, nope, we don't want it. Before any kind of verdict has been reached, before any decision or whatever on Fani, they said, no, we don't want it. So the only other counties would be Cobb and what else? Cobb, Gwinnett where's Gwinnett? I think Gwinnett, that's in Cobb. Yeah, pretty much Cobb, that's about it. Cobb and DeKalb, that's it. And I don't think Cobb County wants to take this case at all. That's MAGA country. That's where the Braves play. I don't think they want it. I don't think DeKalb wants it. Clayco already said no. And Clayco is kind of more like Fulton, in my opinion, as far as left-leaning. So I don't think that any county is going to take this case. So if no county wants to take the case in Georgia, in Atlanta area, it's over. The case is done. So that's why this is very important, because if she is removed, the case is over, in my opinion. I find it very hard to believe that any other county will want to take this case and is able to take the case because of the financial part of it and also the political part of it. You're talking about a former president. I think the only reason Gwinnett a county by itself. Shout out to you, Jamil. But Gwinnett County. Gwinnett, I don't think Gwinnett would win it either. You're talking about Duluth and Beaufort. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Gwinnett, Cobb, DeKalb, Clayco already said no. Clayton County, they already said no, we don't want it. So it ain't gonna happen. That's why this case is very important. And again, what I was about to say, Fani took this case because she wanted the clout. She wanted the attention. She wanted to be able to use this as a stepping stone to get to a different place in her career. I said it from the very beginning. I said it when I was talking about her in the Young Thug case, because she's bringing these big cases out there. Okay, you got Young Thug, this big rapper, is really popular. They're involved in 50 murders in the United States. And then you're trying to prosecute the president. You're trying to get clout. No other person in that county or in the neighboring counties want the kind of clout that Fani wants, as far as I know. And if they do, I can't tell. I've not seen anybody come out and present themselves like Fani. So I think once she's removed, if she's removed, the case dies. Now, of course, you still have other cases in other parts of the country. You still got New York and all that kind of stuff going on. But as far as Fulton County, that's going to be done, and we're going to see it here pretty soon. So before we're going to get to a lot more. We're going to get to the Chanilo Sanchez moment with the lawyer. We're going to get to a lot. But here's the poll so far. I'm going to just go ahead and end it right here. We have 370 votes in 5 minutes. Will Fani Willis be removed? And I can go ahead and end it right now as far as a poll, because it's been pretty much consistent from the beginning. It hadn't really dipped down too much at all. It's been just a slight dip from the peak of one answer to the other. So I'll go ahead and end it. All Natural says, why 2 weeks? Well, he said within 2 weeks, so it could be sooner than the full 2 week mark. He's just saying within 2 weeks. I don't really know why it would take so long. That's a good question. But hopefully it is going to come sooner than later. All right, so we have results of the poll. 73% said yes, Fani will be removed. 26% say no. Again, 73% say yay. 26% say nay. But I think that's going to happen, and we're going to see pretty soon. Once she's removed, that particular case out there will be done, in my opinion. Now, if she's not removed, that's going to cause a problem, because how can the case go forward when we all know how tainted it is, when we all know the embarrassment that's going on? How can the case proceed? I don't really understand how that makes a lot of sense. And shout out to you guys on the Facebook. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank y'all again for supporting me over there. If you're watching on Facebook, please share the video to any friends, family, otherwise. Okay, it's all good. Shout out to you guys for watching. I'm trying to unlock Facebook before the election happens. Well before. I'm trying to unlock Facebook really and make that really be something before summertime, because I know summertime is when it's going to get crazy with the election. It's already crazy right now, but I know it's going to get crazier come summertime. And I hope Nikki Haley at a certain point goes ahead and resigns, or not resigns, just drops out. What is she doing? Just collecting money, burning money? If burning money was a person, it'd be Nikki Haley. If setting money on fire with a cigar was a person, it'd be Nikki Haley. That's pretty much what's happening there. I mean, a distraction, unnecessary. It's like you have no chance. You are not winning anything. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse. With every new primary, with every new state, it doesn't get any better for Nikki Haley. It's always bad. She only gets any kind of support from the Democrats and a few Ryan Republicans, but it never actually gets better. It's never any kind of real headway. There's no chance. There's no competition. There's no nothing. Go ahead and drop out. We've all known from the beginning. We've all known from the start that Donald Trump was the nominee, that he is a nominee. It's just like with Biden. Everybody knows that he's a nominee. The only way that he would not be the nominee is if they make him have some kind of fall. He didn't bust his hip open or something crazy, or, he got dementia. They got to pull a Wendy Williams on Joe Biden and say that he's not able to do anything at all. They got to put him on the conservatorship. They got to go to that level to get him out of the race and then sneak a Gavin in at the 0 hour. That's the only way that Biden would not run and be up there with Trump in 2024, November this year, trying to become the president again at the ripe old age of 189. This guy's old, man. If you think you've seen old in your life and you've never seen Joe Biden before, you've not seen old. I mean, I've seen some old things in my life, right? The pyramids, some of these land formations, Niagara Falls, mountain ranges, the Appalachians. Joe Biden is older than all those things combined. Joe Biden is the world's very first person to breathe oxygen. He's the first human to walk on Earth. Aside from Adam and Eve, they got like a different subspecies of human. Not Adam and Eve from the Bible. Joe Biden was like his own thing. He was over there in the corner just chilling, and then it just unveiled him within the past 100 years. And then he became a senator and ran for president. That's how old he is. They had him pretty much one of those, you ever seen one of those woolly mammoths encased in ice in Russia somewhere? That's pretty much Joe Biden, encased in ice. And then when they unthawed him, he was already 55 years old with a receding hairline. He was already pretty much an advanced age when they got him out of the ice. That's Joe Biden. This guy's old. And nothing against somebody that's elderly. If you're watching me and you're under 100 years old, you are an infant compared to Joe Biden. Okay, that's enough. Let's move on. We got quite a few videos for you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video. do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, speaking about Fulton County, Cobb County, Gwinnett, Clayco, McDonough, Henry County, all that good stuff, Atlanta, Georgia, there's a pro-Palestine protest in Atlanta. Let's check it out. And let's get a little bit of sound here, shall we? Now, my question is, when you see these big protests with all these people, where do they come from? Are they bussed in? Do they stay in hotels? Is there like an Antifa hotel or protester hotel? Do they sleep in their cars? Are these homeless people from different parts of the country? Is this like the boat lift from Cuba where they just pretty much freed the prisons and flushed the toilets of Cuba onto Miami, Florida? Is that like this? Where are all these people coming from that are just kind of organized at once to do this protest? And the traffic down in Atlanta is horrendous. Hopefully, these people were not blocking the traffic on the main thoroughfares. And somebody said it was a charter bus. Hold on. I think they said something about Nazism. There might be Zionism. I can't tell what that says. But somebody said something about a charter bus. Look, I was at my favorite gas station in the state of Georgia called Buc-ee's. You guys know about it in your state, Texas, and all over the country. They got Buc-ee's. But I was at Buc-ee's recently, and I saw a charter bus full of the Amish. Like, the beards on these guys were crazy. Like, I didn't want to be intrusive and take pictures, so I just was in the moment. My man, Jeb, Ahab, Elishaw, all these guys with these beards, I'm like, you know what? These are beard goals. No mustaches, but the beards are crazy, okay? My one man had this hairstyle. It was like a toupee, but it wasn't a toupee. It was like a bowl cut. Like, I'm talking about you put a bowl on top of his head, and you just cut all the way around it, except for the side, except for like right here where the sideburns are at. No mustache, and the beard was about a good foot long. Okay, like these guys straight out of a movie. It was crazy. Riding a double-decker charter bus. I was like, okay, no horse and buggy, but I guess if you're coming from wherever you are to go somewhere else, you might need a more modern transport system rather than getting in your horse and buggy Oregon Trail style. But yeah, real talk. I saw them the other day in a charter bus. It was crazy. The women had on their little bonnets, not the pajama bonnets, the old school. It was like Oregon Trail in real life. It was crazy. So shout out to the Amish though. Hey, you know what? And they're all non-vaxxed. No vaccinations, none of that other stuff. They were all kind of up there in age and looked very healthy. Dude Raw for Show says, careful ABL, I'm black Amish when it comes to beard length. Hey, shout out to you, man. I'm envious of your beard length. Okay, shout out to you. So yeah, that's what's happening out there in Atlanta. Somebody says, Amazing Disgrace says, Amish drive SUVs here in Missouri. I bet they do. I've not seen actually any Amish in the buggies. You know, normally when I see them, like I'm never in Amish country. I never just, take a drive into their particular territory. Usually when I see them, they're out doing different things. I see them in restaurants, but usually I see them traveling. I don't just see them just kind of hanging out. I've never seen an Amish person just kind of relaxing in a bar somewhere. That's not really what I see. I see them traveling all the time. That's kind of how that works. Somebody said, send them at Dolly Parton Stampede show. Hey, they get out. I'm with you on that one. Now, speaking about Kentucky, did you guys see this? This was crazy. And shout out to my main man or the team or whoever did this rescue. So a semi like crashed on the bridge and almost plunged into the water below. But as you can see, it's like in a very precarious situation. It's just dangling. And the driver was rescued. You see the window right here, the door? The driver was rescued from the door. Let's check it out.
My truck somehow dangling off the edge of the Clark Memorial Bridge. We don't know exactly how this happened yet. Rescue crews trying to get to him. Now, when they pull out, you'll see off to the top right.
Look at that. I mean, just imagine you're the truck driver in a situation. Your life flashes before your eyes. Because how do you really escape that situation? God's got to be on your side. What are the odds you crash like that and you don't fall over? I'm thinking maybe he has to be light, because if you are fully loaded, I don't see how you don't crash, because I would presume, I don't know how that works. Maybe he could be heavy and there's no weight shifting because you're fully packed. So it's just that the weight of the trailer is staying on the bridge, or you're light and then the trailer was just caught on something. Because I would presume if you go on a certain rate of speed and you have anything in your actual trailer and it's able to shift, then that motion would cause that to really just take it over the edge from the crash, and the weight in the trailer shifting to push the front of the vehicle forward. That's what I would think.
Right of your screen, you'll see the fire truck and all the firefighters up there. But this rescuer went down and just did a miraculous thing. And we couldn't believe what our eyes were seeing. And we're so glad that we were able to break out of a commercial to come and let you watch this at this moment. I wasn't sure that we would catch it. I wasn't sure that it would happen. So
this right here is crazy. So as you can see, I didn't know what the actual cord was suspended from. I didn't quite see it, but you have the ladder from the truck. So the ladder from the truck extended. So the truck, of course, was on the bridge, and they extended the ladder beyond the bridge or off to the side, and they have somebody suspended from a cable at the end of the ladder, and the person was able to kind of, I guess you would say, rappel down and rescue the driver in his arms, looks like. I'm not quite sure. Maybe the person's, on a cable as well. But that is crazy to have that whole thing happen.
They were hanging over freezing cold water.
Let's say Sabe says that's a reefer trailer, generally for produce or dairy. And reefer, that means refrigerated, not marijuana, for the old school people. Yeah, refrigerated trailer.
Ohio River. You hit that, it's like hitting cement at that height. Officials say a motor vehicle collision caused this scene. We're learning more now. The bridge is shut down in both directions. But if you want to see faith in action, watch what this rescuer did. Lowered down to the cab's front, pulled the driver out, and now dangling far above, even farther above the Ohio River. Freezing cold temperatures, able to hang on to him. The two of them in one harness.
God bless the first responders, police, fire, military, everybody for going out here and doing what has to be done. Really, that right there, that's really protecting the servant for sure.
Look at him twirl. Maybe we'll see that he might have been able to get a harness around this man. We can't quite see it, but he would have only had split seconds to do that. Any more weight on that truck would have made it move. Now, what we can't see is what they're doing to secure the truck on the other end, but I don't know how you would. It doesn't look like there's a way to do that.
There's no way to actually secure the truck, really. That's God. They're nothing but God, because look at the truck. How was the truck not falling? There's some things happen in life and you can't explain it. Like, there's no physics and all that kind of stuff. It's just how. The luck of the draw. I mean, I'm sure there's something keeping the truck in place. Something. But maybe it's that wheel right there, because I see some kind of platform that extends beyond the actual bridge, beyond the droppable part of the bridge. Off to the side, there's a platform right there in the center of the screen. Maybe that platform is where the wheel, you see right there, it's the wheel resting on it. Maybe that's happening. But what are the odds of all the necessary things coming together to prevent that truck from plunging into the river.
That gravity is so powerful where that truck is. But look where the two are dangling, just at the lip of the bridge. They're going to make it. He's pulling his hand out. We pray. Oh, we pray for this scene. So as we watch this, we don't know the wind conditions. We don't know a whole lot other than the fact that it's very cold, and certainly that water of the Ohio River is. Emily, what are you seeing? You're pointing.
Oh, I'm trying to get a read on the exact name of the department who is engaging in this heroic rescue. I'm overcome and over.
They might put them right there on that platform. I'm gonna kind of go ahead a little bit and see what they do.
On the line every day, and they are there in that instant.
That's wind, if that's
okay, they're gonna bring them on the actual bridge.
gravity, if it's what they're trying to do. Can they bring him in with some other? I'm gonna guess it probably feels that way.
Now look at this. It's like they're physically pulling them in.
Kaylee, what do you see?
You know, I'm just putting my mind in.
Have not been able to confirm anything more about the collision that started this, but this did involve the lip of the bridge.
That right there is a crazy scene. I mean, if you're able to get like a photographer out there and get a picture of that, of everything, of the whole scene, of the person, of the driver being rescued, the truck dangling off the edge, all the fire, all the rescue squad there, fire, police, everybody right there on the scene of the incident. That's a crazy picture.
And unable as of yet to get pulled in, but they are trying mightily to make that happen. The Clark Memorial. This is Louisville, Kentucky. The water below freezing. I mentioned if you hit it at this height, it's going to feel like cement, and he got his foot.
Wow.
They've got the left foot of one of the men.
Wow.
You see the ropes that are tethered to the rescuer's harness. They've got him. They're trying to pull him down.
Pull him on in.
I wish we had sound to this. But I can only imagine there've got to be some cheers.
Safe.
Yeah.
Cheers to go with all the tears. Oh, there you go.
Man, imagine that. Imagine being in that situation, just being right there on the ground, seeing something like that happen. So yeah, shout out to Louisville, Kentucky, fire rescue, the police department, everybody out there for making that whole thing happen. And I think they said in the beginning this was caused by just a vehicle driving erratically. When I'm on the road, I see quite a bit of stuff like this, not accidents like this. So I'm talking about vehicles getting in the way of trucks, tailgating trucks, not knowing how to pass, passing from the passenger side, closed, not giving them any kind of space. And people don't understand that trucks do not operate the same way as regular vehicles. From a stopping distance, you can't just stop. You know, your cars now, your regular sedan, truck, just regular passenger vehicles. You got them anti-lock brakes. You're going to have a light vehicle. You're not really towing anything. But these trucks, I mean, they can't just stop on a dime like that because a lot of times they got a lot of weight they're carrying. It's just not the same. So these vehicles just cause a lot of accidents by not understanding the way that these trucks have to operate. And this could have been a situation, but luckily the driver's okay. He was rescued. He or she, I don't know who, I don't want to assume the gender, but the driver was definitely rescued. And shout out to the police and fire out there for saving the day. All right. Yeah, we need, that's what I like. I like to see stuff like that all day long. All righty. Now, these are going to be a lot of your rural people, a lot of your rural voters. A lot of times we're talking about fire departments. You're talking about Louisville, Kentucky. A lot of the guys on the force could be from a rural area, but MS13DNC says that these are some of the guys, your rural white guys especially, you need to be afraid of. That's what they say. They say that they are a threat to American democracy. Let's check out Mika Brzezinski. Mika Brzezinski is a threat to modern marriages because she's a homeworker, isn't she? But I don't want to say the wrong thing. Hold on, let's keep on going.
Joining us now, Professor of Political Science at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, Tom Schaller, and journalist and opinion writer Paul Waldman. Their new book, out tomorrow, is entitled White Rural Rage, The Threat.
Now, before we get into white rural rage, you guys are telling me the driver was a woman? Okay, shout out to you guys. I didn't want to make the wrong assumption and say the wrong thing. So I'm glad you guys have been able to correct me.
To American.
So Tom Schaller and Paul Waldman, two white guys have written a book about white rural rage. Okay, just somebody on the same page. Let's keep on going.
Democracy. And Tom, we'll start with you. Why are white rural voters a threat to democracy at this point? You would think, as we pointed out, looking at Joe Biden's background and Donald Trump's, that the opposite would be true.
Are these guys twins? Are they cousins? Are they boyfriend and boyfriend? What's going on? Like, are they like the same kind of appearance here, or is it just me?
I mean, we lay out the fourfold interconnected threat that white rural voters pose to the country. First of all, and we show 30 polls and national studies to demonstrate this. So we provide the receipts in Chapter 6. They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and
conspiracist group, okay.
Subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism, and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press.
Independent press? You mean like Tucker Carlson, the guys that you said was a traitor for interviewing Vladimir Putin? The same Putin who's been interviewed by everybody else in the United States. All the big, your Barbara Walters, everybody has interviewed Putin. But when Tucker does it, it's a problem. Do you guys believe in free press? What's going on?
Free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence as an acceptable alternative to peaceful public discourse.
So you mentioned a lot of negative.
So white rural voters are more likely to justify violence aside from peaceful protests. Do you mean the peaceful, mostly fiery protests? Is that what you mean? Because when I was in D.C. in 2020, I saw the damage that Antifa had left. Now, this group is majority white, and they went all around the country doing a lot of damage. Didn't we see Chaz Chop out there in Free Outer Washington, a mostly white liberal area where two black kids got killed, a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old? Didn't we see that? Or am I remembering incorrectly? Is my truth, am I remembering my truth improperly, or did that happen? So we're talking about white rural voters. I don't think the white rural man was out there rioting in D.C. for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years straight. I don't think that happened, but maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know.
Factors about this demographic.
Okay, so that's the clip right there. Again, you got these guys, Dumb and Dumber, freaking frat, thing one, thing two, boyfriend and boyfriend. I don't know what's going on here. Like, is it the same look? You got the same kind of hairstyle, glasses, wardrobe choice. They probably were in the same hotel room in a king size bed, not even two queens, and decided to get at the same time get dressed. Okay, all right, Tom, what are you gonna wear? I don't know, Bill. What are you gonna wear? I'll pick it out. Anyway, shout out to Jose Bank, Men's Warehouse, and these two morons here for writing the book about how the white rural voter is the most dangerous. If that's the case, I can't tell. I cannot tell. Again, I've not seen any of these white rural voters. They want to put in January 6th. Let's just give January 6th and say it was a riot. That's one riot. And how many people were there who were the so-called white rural voter? I saw a little bit of everybody. I was seeing black guys get arrested. I was seeing a lot of Antifa posing as Trump supporters who were not Trump supporters. I was seeing federal agents in there. Your guy, Ray Epps, what was he? How was he able to incite the riot on camera and get a slap on the wrist while guys who did not incite the riot, who were not at the riot, who were not in the Capitol, got their whole life ruined? How does that really work? Anyway, I digress. Yeah, thing one, thing two, freaking frat, Dumb and Dumber. That's them. That's these guys. These guys are all over the place. All right. Now let's get back to reality right here. What's happening with the migrant crisis in Boston? This is what you're going to see when you go to Boston Logan Airport. Now, look, imagine you're leaving Boston to go somewhere, or you have a layover in Boston, or let's say for some reason you're arriving in Boston and you see this kind of thing going on. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I travel, I want to feel safe and secure. I want to see a nice environment. A homeless shelter in an airport does not scream safe, secure, clean, nice environment. It screams third world country. Where am I at? Am I in the USA? Am I in India, Africa, somewhere Southeast Asia? Actually, I don't even want to do that, because you're not really going to see this India, Africa, Southeast Asia. You might see it outside in the slum, but I doubt you're going to see that in an airport. Even in third world countries, I don't think you'll see anything quite like this. It may not be as nice as United States. There may be some things going on that aren't quite the same, but I don't know about a whole homeless shelter inside the airport. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. There's no way that I want to see that. That would be enough for me to never even go. It's like, okay, I got to go where? I got to go to Boston. I got to go to Logan Airport. The smell, Summer Sky. Listen, the smell is going to be crazy. Oh my goodness. It's going to be all kind of smells, because you're going to have different hygiene standards, different cultures. I mean, you're going to have competing stenches in there. The smell is going to be unreal. I'm talking about, you need a respirator, not even because it necessarily stinks. You're going to have some funk in there. It's going to be funk in the midst, but it's just a bunch of different funk. That's the problem. It's like, okay, if it's just one kind of funk, I might be able to bear it for a brief period of time. But when I'm getting 15 unique funks combined, now we got a problem. We got a big problem. Okay, so yeah, shout out to Logan Airport for being, somebody said it, a Greyhound bus station, a homeless shelter, a shanty town, a slum, all that good stuff inside of the actual airport. I don't like that at all. If I was a taxpayer and my money went to a thing like that, I would not be, I'd be none too pleased. None too pleased at all. But if you like what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. Okay, now there's more here. We got a lot to get through, actually. Let's go to MS-13 DNC or NBC, one of these. This is Ely Mistel. Ely Mistel, a big-time Stone Cold stomp down leftist. Okay, you may have seen him quite a bit. Let's go ahead and listen to him talk about Trump. You know, one thing that the left does is promote Trump. They do it. They're kind of in the weird situation, and I don't know if they really understand what they're doing. Before we get to this, I don't know if they understand that they in their attempt to hate on Trump, in their attempt to make him not popular, I guess, they're making him more popular. It's just like what these judges are doing, trying to keep him off the ballot. Okay, you want to remove Trump from the ballot and go through all this court action and get your name in the news. All you're going to do is galvanize Trump supporters. And I think some guys understand it. They understand. And this freeze frame, you know what? I might say I can give him a better freeze frame than this. But I mean, what am I going to do? I don't have a lot of material to work with to get him a better freeze frame than that. That might be as good as it gets as far as freeze frames are concerned. But back to what I was saying, I think some guys in this space understand that they're really promoting Trump, but they have no choice other than to do it, because if they stop talking about Trump, then nobody's going to watch. Why else would you watch these people? If you are a leftist, like your only reason to watch this guy is because you hate Trump and you want to hear other guys hate Trump, but they have no real value beyond that. Let's see what he says, though. I'm interested.
The reason why people like Mark and people like Dahlia seem to have a crystal ball is because they're real. because they're realists and they understand the court for what it is. And at some point, people in the media, people at home, and people sitting in the White House have to stop pretending that the Supreme Court is some kind of benign, trying to do its best institution and start to realize that there are 6 Republicans, not conservatives, Republicans on the Supreme Court who view it as their job to help the Republican Party. And until we do something about that, until we take away that power, until we draw the line on them there, they will continue to do this. They will help Trump. They will take away abortion rights. They will end affirmative action. They will liberalize gun rights. They will do all of it until we stop them. And the reason why.
That's your man. I mean, how can you watch stuff like this? Like, if you watch this kind of news, like, how can you watch it? And you know what? Can I just say something right quick? And don't get offended, anybody. But if I'm watching television, at a certain point, you need to have a face for television. Some guys are better for radio. If your voice is good enough and you're able to carry your show, you're able to speak very well, very fluently without a bunch of stammering and whatnot, go to the radio, do that. Because some guys ain't really built for television. It is what it is. They call it show business for a reason. All right. And if you are a 100,000 pound Lithuanian person, maybe you shouldn't be on TV. Maybe you'd be best in somebody's basement eating borscht all day, trying to scam ABL live viewers. But we ain't going for it because you guys know better than to get scams by Lithuanians, by Nigerians, or by guys like this on MS-13, DNC, CNN, et cetera, so on and so forth. But I digress. Yeah, if you're watching that, I don't know how you do it without going crazy. If I had to watch that guy or any of his ilk, like Rachel Maddow, all these people, I'd go crazy. No wonder these people, when you confront them sometimes, a lot of these leftists, they're nuts. I mean, what else are you going to be like when you're watching guys like that all day long? I mean, good night. You're talking about brainwashing. It's like having a neural implant and it just says, okay, go crazy. You know, act a fool. That's pretty much what happens. Somebody says, King Chris says, big back activities. That's crazy. 100%. Yeah, shout out to the big backs. But anyway, and speaking of leftists, this guy is kind of, this guy, let's just put him on the screen. Let's put him on the screen. Y'all know who he is. I don't got to really give him an introduction. This guy, Bill Maher. Bill Maher is still a leftist. He's a leftist, but the left in this country, politically especially, have gone so far to the left that guys like this, who are leftists, who are liberals, seem like conservatives. You see, it's like, okay, how can I explain it? Before there was boundaries on what would be considered extremism, let's just say there's a box like this, right? Like a 1-to-1 ratio box. But then the left got so crazy, they extended their boundaries all the way off of the screen. So you have no idea where the boundaries are. You got guys that look like they roof houses for a living. They hang drywall for a living. They pave roads for a living. They rescue guys from bridges for a living. They look like that, but then they call themselves, they call themselves, they, them, zimzer, et cetera, so on and so forth. That wasn't a thing even 5 years ago, but now it is. They've pushed the window so far, you don't even know where the actual boundaries are anymore. Everything is accepted in the left, on the left. So a guy like Bill Maher might have been like right here on the left firmly, but since the window's been pushed so far over there, he's still right here. And he appears to be closer to, he's closer to conservative than he is to the extremists of liberalism, which is now accepted as regular, everyday liberalism and not even extremism. Does that make any sense? But let's hear from him. What's this about again? Talking about Biden being old as time, Old Man River, the first human to draw breath, cryo chamber frozen for 1 million years by the Anunnaki, and he was brought back alive by Richard Nixon.
Instead of trying to refute all the too old to be president slams, Joe must embrace them. Stop with the I'm sharper than ever. Nobody's buying that. Don't try to deny the age thing. Lean into it. Lean in. Lean in like you're eating soup.
Now, this is an old picture of him, by the way, which is funny. Like, new pictures of this guy, when you see him, like, in full HD close-up pictures, he looks very old. If you notice, one thing about Joe Biden, they don't really show him close up. He's probably wearing a ton of makeup. I saw him one time on the Shade Room, one of these blog sites, and they had him kind of close up in like in a trailer or something, and they showed his skin. It's like, man, it's like the Roach from Men in Black. Remember that guy that had on the human suit, the Roach in the human suit? That's pretty much what he looks like when you don't see him in low quality camera footage. When you see him up close, no makeup on, he looks a mess.
And just admit it. Say, yes, I'm bad with names, and I walk like a toddler with a full diaper.
Like, what is it all about? Is he trying to, is there a diaper on? Is there some kind of device he has? Like, what is that about?
But I believe in...
But you know what? At least he didn't fall like Hillary Clinton. Remember Hillary Clinton? Oh, my goodness. That was crazy. The 2016 election time when it was the same situation like this. They had a door open, and she was at the curb. So it wasn't a flat surface like this where it just goes straight from whatever this floor is, a tile, straight to this road. It was a little curb, just a little teeny baby curb. And she was struggling to simply get off the curb. It wasn't a big drop. There was a need to jump. Just step forward. She couldn't do it. Had to drag her off the curb and throw her into the vehicle. If I didn't know any better, I'd say she was getting kidnapped. I say, yo, call the police, but they were right there anyway. So she wasn't getting kidnapped. She was just not able to really move.
In democracy. Because Joe's problem is not a new one for Democrats. Not the age thing specifically, but the idea of letting the opposition intimidate you into being defensive about who you really are. Yes, that we've seen before. John Kerry pretending to be a duck hunter. Hillary carrying hot sauce in her purse. Americans hate that shit.
Oh, okay, I know I was gonna start cussing. Oh, sorry about the cussing. You know, hey, blame the white man. It's not my fault.
Be yourself. And Joe, yourself is old.
Sriracha, that ain't what she had in her purse. Sriracha hot sauce. They couldn't find Texas Pete.
And Joe, yourself is old. That's who you are. Old. Old. You're the guy who thinks an app is the sound a chihuahua makes when it comes.
Okie dokie. We're getting a little bit too X-rated. Sorry for that. Let's go ahead and move forward. Yeah, Bill Maher. See, that's what I'm saying. Bill Maher is a liberal. That's not how conservatives talk on television at all. But since, again, the left has gone so far to the left, so far, he, to some people, is considered to be a conservative, although he's clearly not. Clearly not. Not at all. He's like a 1992 liberal in a 2024 world, which is not the same thing anymore. Okay. Now, there's more. I want to just go ahead and skip forward here. I want to skip forward. Now, the whole thing about the shoes. Remember Trump's shoes that he got? And then the guy on Fox was like, hey, he's connected to the black community because of the shoes. Remember all that jazz? Hold on. I want to find that clip right quick. It was just kind of silly to me. It's like, you think it's going to help with the vote? Not at all. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Y'all give me a second. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Now I got to find it. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Here we go. I got it. I believe. Nah, never mind. I ain't going to play it, but y'all saw it because I ain't trying to really go through the whole thing right now. But see, now I got to find it because now I'm on the hunt. Okay, Trump, sneakers, Fox. Okay, there we go. Boom.
Even the sneaker thing. I was on social media last night. very interesting as you see black support eroding from Joe Biden. This is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that
this right here was crazy. It's like, my man, no, that's not how it works.
Defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Now, the whole thing with the shoes, I mean, it was an interesting moment, but it's not going to translate into votes at all. Even if you see chatter online, it's not going to translate into votes. And I'm going to kind of show you an example of what I'm talking about in a moment. I'm going to show you somebody who is popular in urban culture, I guess you would say, although he's not a black person. He's popular within, I guess you would say, among the community. I'm going to show you this guy, and I guarantee you this person will not ever publicly support Trump. And if I'm wrong, then I'd be surprised.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting for Donald Trump?
Well, anybody willing to put $400 down for a pair of sneakers? Yeah, I think that's commitment and love.
It's
hope
something.
You're right. It's something. It's affection. Even the
it was really nothing. Really, it's just about collectors. And I said it from the beginning. I would buy the shoes if I could, because they're all sold out now, I think. But if somebody gave me the shoes or if I purchased them, it'd be something I would collect. I put them in the curio cabinet. I would never wear it. But I wouldn't, number one, like I said, I wouldn't wear it. And number two, it's not going to actually change anything as far as voting is concerned. That's just not how it works. Because again, if Joe Biden got on TV and said, hey, Charlamagne, if you don't know whether you're voting for me or for Trump, then you ain't black. If he was able to say that on a very popular urban radio show to a black host, and that didn't change the vote, why would a pair of shoes change the vote? But here is what I was leading up to. This is Fat Joe, okay? A well-known rapper, of course. Now, Fat Joe is not black, but he's from the community. Fat Joe is Puerto Rican. Shout out to the Puerto Ricans, Boricua, all that.
I had to find these. Now the mayor's gonna call me.
Now, I got to find a better clip. Shout out to my man, Dom Luker, but he have the lean back music in there. I can't really play that. Let me see if I can find the clip. So that's Fat Joe with the pair of the Trump shoes. Let me see if I can find a version of that without the actual music on it. And here we go.
Rapper Fat Joe knows, baby. He's got those Trump shoes. He's got that fit and that drip. Look at Fat Joe in the Trump shoes.
The fit and the drip. Benny, I like you, man, but that was cringe.
This is culture. This is icon. Watch.
Y'all trying to clout chase it. They'll get me a Trump.
What's up with the music? Benny, come on, man. Please. Good grief. Like, no music. Why? Why must these guys put music on their actual thing? But if I could not find the clip, basically he was saying that he was given the pair of shoes, he did not pay for them, and he's a collector. That's why he has them. But good grief, the music is killing me. Okay, maybe Non-Mag might not do it.
But I got the Trump sneakers.
Oh my God, come on, man, just play it.
I'm a sneaker collector. What does that mean, Joe? I'm one of the biggest sneaker collectors in the world. Now, you know, I don't rock with Trump. You know.
Did you hear that? I have Trump shoes, but I don't rock with Trump. What more needs to be said? This is fact. This is going to be the typical. If anybody in the community gets the shoes who is not a Trump voter, that's not going to make them become a Trump voter. If anybody in the community got the shoes and they already voted for Trump before the shoes, it'd be the same. You're not going to change any minds like that, you see?
I'm a die-hard Democrat. You know, I'm a loyal Democrat to a fault. I almost think I'm like the lady who used to follow Obama around going, fired up. I'm one of them.
can't make this stuff up, man. I promise. You can't make it up. This is what I'm saying. He is an example of what I'm talking about. Although, again, he's not black. He's black because he come from the community. So he's like accepted in the community. He's given the pass. He's Puerto Rican.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
But I needed the Trumps.
I hate Trump. I don't like Trump. I'm a diehard Democrat to a fault, but I had to get the Trump shoes.
Why? If you collect art, do you really know what Basquiat was into? Do you know what Andy Warhol was into? Any of these artists that you was into?
So there it is. That's what I said. He's a collector. It's not going to actually impact the voting at all. You see? That's okay. It's just one person's it's anecdotal, but we can see it. We're going to see come election time. We're going to look at the actual data, and then we're going to see if there was if you do a poll among Democrat voters, regardless of race, before the shoes and then after, it'd be the same. Anyway, let's keep on going here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And there, he with the shoes right there. I don't know if I showed you the shoes, but that's him with the actual pair of shoes holding them. I just couldn't play Dom's version because he had music in it. So he has them, and he was gifted the shoes for free. He didn't even buy them. But let's keep on moving here. We got quite a bit to get through. I don't want to talk about Fat Joe too much.
I'm not adopting your language. I'm not respecting your preferences.
This is a meme. It says, I'm going to start from the top. It says, you can't misgender and dead name trans people. That's the statement. And then below that, it says me, colon.
I'm not adopting your language. I'm not respecting your preferences because you don't own reality. You don't own grammar. You don't own definitions. You don't get to tell me. You're not important enough to provide me with an instruction manual on how to talk to you.
You guys are funny. Somebody said same guy. I wish that was Fat Joe, but it's not Fat Joe. I wish it was him. If that was Fat Joe, we'd be doing something good, but that's not him.
You kidding?
But yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, look, man, I'm looking at Brett the Hitman Hart in front of me. I'm not calling you ma'am. I'm not calling you pup or none. Look, whatever your name is, I'll call you that. Okay, your name is Xena the Warrior Princess. Okay, that's fine. I'll call you Xena. That's cool. But I'm not calling you by some random pronoun that I got to guess and it changes and it's something weird. No. Either you got a name I can call you or I'm going to call you he. You looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin right now. Bald head, leather vest, cut off jean shorts and a pair of combat boots with no socks on. You are a sir. I'm going to call you that or I'm going to call you by your name. Again, if your name is Xena the Warrior Princess, your name is Leia, your name is Princess Peach from the Mario Brothers, whatever it is. Okay, I'll call you that if you got a name. Show me your ID, your name right there. Okay, cool, I'll call you that. But I'm not going to call you she, her, none of that extra stuff. When I'm looking at The Ultimate Warrior, when I'm looking at Kurt Hennig, I'm not doing it. You look like The Rock right now. Steroids and everything. Talking about something, call me she. No, I'm not doing it. Now, speaking about pronouns and whatnot, this is going to be an issue when talking about the job market, okay? Now, if you are a hiring manager, what would you do with this person? This particular individual of unknown origin, I'm not quite sure if we're dealing with a Pokemon or a human being. If this person says, hey, I want to work at your establishment, I want to flip burgers for a living, what are you going to do? Check it out.
And you go, here's the update on the interview I just had. So I walk in and this older guy is at a desk and he looks me up and down and I go, hi, I'm, full name. I'm here for the interview. And he goes, you're full name, and I go, yep, that's me. He seemed a little disappointed for some reason, but I was trying to keep it cheerful and, see if I still have my chance, I guess. But no, it turns out all of a sudden he actually hired someone and had this whole elaborate backstory for this person that he supposedly just hired and is giving a try. But if that elaborate, totally real person doesn't work out, guess who's getting a call? That's right. Me. I'm the second choice. That's totally gonna happen when this very real person doesn't work out.
But look, okay, now, you know what I think is going on? I think this person, and you know what? I used to be able to tell sometimes the male, female, I think this is a man. I'm getting Dennis the Menace vibes. How y'all say? It's giving Dennis the Menace. Ain't that how y'all say? The young girls, how y'all say? I don't know what's going on with this person, but I think there might have been a name on the application that didn't really match this person when they came in. Okay, the application says Emily Walker. You come in looking like Chris Walker. The old man behind the counter is like, what's going on here? And then he sees your facial decoration, all you got stuff. It's like, look, you want the big septum ring, you want all the stuff on your lip. To the young guys and girls out there especially, if you want to have this kind of appearance and you want to work somewhere, then you need to understand it's going to be hard. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're an artist, you are a musician or something like that, you have your own business where there's no need for you to be in the public, or if you're some kind of labor worker, working with your hands, something like that, you're a pipe fitter, okay, that's a little bit different. But you want to work in a Panera Bread, we'll talk about that spot in a minute. But you want to be customer service in front of people, it ain't happening. You wouldn't work at Chick-fil-A like that? No. McDonald's at best. Wendy's at best. Chick-fil-A, it's not happening. When I go to Chick-fil-A, I want to have the best people in the whole world. Hello, Mr. Logan. Welcome to Chick-fil-A. Have a wonderful, lovely, and blessed day. I want to get a big smile, a big cheese-eating, sunshine smile. I don't want to see this particular person right here behind the counter at Chick-fil-A. McDonald's, okay, I understand. I know where I'm at. I'm not going to get the best. That's like, I'm hungry, I'm starving, y'all open, okay, cool. I'm not really worried about that behind the counter. Yeah, KFC, somebody said KFC. Yeah, maybe KFC. Maybe a gas station in a sketchy area. It'd be fine. The night shift behind the counter of a gas station, okay, cool. But once we get into the more upscale spots, maybe not. But again, to the young people out there, if you're trying to find jobs, you're trying to get your foot in the door, like how I was when I was like 15, 16, trying to get a job, or you might even be young, you might be a little bit older, you might be in your 20s, you have that kind of appearance, it might not work out too well for you. All right. Now, this is Lieutenant Colonel Bree Fram, and this is what this person says.
All too often, I hear leaders talk about providing everyone with dignity and respect like it's an aspirational goal. That's not good enough. Dignity and respect is the bare minimum. It's the floor of where we can be. We must set our sights higher and focus on intentional inclusivity, because there are still far too many people out there, not just LGBTQ individuals, that feel marginalized, shut out, or discriminated against. So for all of you out there, I ask you to set out your symbols of pride, share your pronouns in your email, particularly if you're a person who doesn't think they need to. Initiate difficult conversations about racial and gender barriers, and share a bit of your vulnerability in a way that draws others in. You all have the power to take intentionally inclusive actions to ensure the multiple perspectives that we know make us stronger as we devise winning warfighting strategies.
Can I ask a question? When did this happen in the military? My man has on his full uniform, everything, talking about some transformer type situation. Like, what are we really saying here? You're talking about respect and all of that being the minimum, being the floor. Well, you got to respect yourself, right? I mean, what self-respecting man would appear like this in his uniform. You see what I'm saying? It's like, look, you got some kind of alternative lifestyle. Do that outside of your uniform. Whatever you do behind closed doors is not my business. I don't know what you do behind closed doors. That's, you in your house, you on your property. Whatever you do is your business. But why must you be in a military uniform doing this? What is the purpose? What is the reason? And you know what? For you guys in the military, whether you're active, whether you're a veteran, whatever it is, how do you feel about this kind of thing? And also, there's an issue with recruitment in the military right now. I believe probably all branches, but I think I saw the Army. They were like 25% short of their goals of recruitment. And you got to ask yourself, why is that happening? There's quite a few things happening with the military as far as I know. I've said it before. My doctor was in the Navy as a doctor, and he retired because he got tired of seeing these young men, 18 years old, come into the military, completely healthy, physically fit, could pass all the physical examination tests without having to lower their standards. These guys will get the COVID vaccination shot specifically, not the other vaccinations, but COVID specifically, and then they'd be in the hospital weeks later with heart problems. He got tired of having to be involved and complicit in that kind of behavior. Forcing this vaccination on these young, healthy men that didn't need it. And then you have this happening with leadership. You have a bunch of other stuff happening in the military to where it's making veterans tell their kids and their family members to not go in. It's causing guys to leave the military earlier than they wanted to. They're not re-enlisting. They're not enlisting to begin with because this is what you got going on, at least partially. So what do you guys think? Do you think that the problems I mentioned are the reasons why there are problems with the military right now with recruitment, with being able to retain and also gain new people? That's the main thing we got going on right now. Guys are retiring earlier than they would. They're not re-enlisting. It's a mess. They are not re-enlisting before the retirement actually hits. Guys might do 10 years and then just leave. All right. Shout out to Ron Henderson. Ron Henderson says, servicemen like this is the reason why the Chinese may kick our butt if it comes down to it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Forget about it. Forget about it. That's not even the thing. That's not even the thing. The real one says, I'm a vet. I don't care about the trans crap. I'm just sick of people making a big deal about it, including senior level leadership getting on a soapbox. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that's a big thing. It's like, what's really going on? What is really happening? All right, let's keep on moving here. Now, I got one more story about that particular situation. Remember I said that earlier I was talking about education, and shout out to Keisha King. We did the live on Thursday. Shout out to you guys who did for the Thursday live. And we're talking about education. And I was saying in the beginning that it's not just public school K through 12. It's also private charter schools that are affected by this LGBTQ element of P woke nonsense. Even your Christian academies are affected because church is affected. Now, this particular individual right here is this is a church service featuring a trans clown. A clown in church during service, and the clown is trans. Now, you know what's funny? You know what's funny is that these guys, these transformers, they're like clowns. When they dress up like that, they're scarier than Pennywise the clown from It. They look the exact same. And I've told my story about clowns, so I don't like clowns at all. Clowns are scariest. Clowns are the scariest things in the world. Okay, spiders and roaches, I have no problem with. It's all good. Okay, it's not even that doesn't scare me. Okay, that doesn't scare me at all. Insects, animals, things like this don't scare me. But clowns. Before we get into this particular clown right here in church, I'm going to tell you my clown story. I've said it before, but I was probably about 8-9 years old when I saw It for the first time, the first one. That was so scary for me as a little boy. Like, I've never seen anything that scary since. the scariest movie ever featuring Pennywise a clown. It's very scary. So I've never seen anything scary since, but I still don't like clowns 100%. So I'm about in my early 20s, right? And I'm in college. I'm going to TCC in Portsmouth, the art center. My dad lives down the street in a condo, right where the ferry picks. So he had a condo right there. So when I would leave the class, it was right down the street. I would just walk back to his house and go into the parking garage, get my car, and go back to my house. I would just park in his garage. Anyway, I'm leaving. I'm going back to his house. And there's this art gallery right there on High Street in Portsmouth, right down that way. There's an art gallery with big windows. You're always able to see whatever they're making, whatever they're working on, all kind of sculptures and paintings and things of this nature. It just happened to have about, it seemed like there was 10,000 clown sculptures in there. At night, by myself, I'm seeing 10,000, 100,000, 1 million clowns in this art gallery with the windows going from the floor to the ceiling. I'm like, what in the world? If I had a gun, it'd be in my hand, ready to roll, because I was so scared at that moment to be in my 20s. That kind of thing reminds me of this situation.
We light the flame of commitment to stand with and work to create change until all know they are beloved. God, our mother, this world is your womb, and here we are growing.
This is a transgender clown in church performing the sermon. Okay, behind the pulpit, I guess you would say.
Forming, expanding in your holy mystery. You are creating alongside us. You are creating with us. Loving Creator, embolden us to be midwives of ourselves. As we create, as we build community here among friends, let us share signs of peace with one another. May the peace of Christ be with you all. And also with you.
So look, I mean, I don't know what's going on. If you guys go to church and this is not happening, then shout out to you. I'm glad. But this kind of thing is happening all over the country. And it's not even a red state, blue state issue. It's happening everywhere. And you might not even know it. It could be down the street from you. It could be your neighbor's church. You never know what's happening. This is a thing that's all over the place. So please be aware. This summer, you got to be aware of public school, K through 12. Be aware of private school, charter school, and church, because it's all over the place. You got to be able to be aware of it infecting your particular community. All right. So yeah, that's crazy, but we'll move right along. Now I saw some news about the CDC. The CDC removed a directive. I think the directive was that you had to quarantine for a certain amount of time. Hold on. I got to just get the right thing. I gotta get the right thing. Matter of fact, I think my man might actually explain it. This is going to be Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. As you guys know who watched WWEF back in the day, this is also the man who played the character of Kane.
Hello, I'm Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. Today, the CDC dropped its COVID isolation guidelines. I'd like to make a statement about that. During his farewell address, President Eisenhower warned us to be alert to the danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific technological elite. This announcement from the CDC is just more evidence of how prescient Ike turned out to be. Sadly, during COVID, too many Americans were willing to surrender their freedom, which has been secured thanks to the sacrifice of patriots throughout our history in the name of safety and security. Now we're learning that agencies like the CDC and NIH were not following the science. They were fortifying their fiefdoms and increasing our budgets at the expense of our sacred rights and liberties. They were making it up as they went, and it was all about power. It turns out that no one knows, for instance, where the 6 feet apart social distancing guidelines came from. We now know that policies requiring mandatory masking do virtually nothing to stop the spread of respiratory pathogens. We now know that shutting down our schools, ostensibly to protect the population least at risk from the virus, has caused untold harm to our young people.
Now, the directive was the CDC dropping the 5-day COVID isolation. So if you tested positive for the bug, you were supposed to self-quarantine for 5 days. Now, I don't know who was doing that. I don't know if anybody was still following that, but they just rescinded that recently, so there's no longer a need to do that. And I guess it's kind of a formality to do that because, again, nobody was really following that anyway, so it didn't make a difference.
And most disturbingly, we now know that instead of objectively investigating the origin of SARS-CoV-2, high-level government officials actively suppressed evidence that the virus may have been the result of a lab leak, probably because our own country has been funding dangerous gain-of-function research performed in adversarial nations. I pray that when the next crisis comes, Americans will remember what happens when we blindly follow the demands of experts and bureaucrats and reject further assaults on our liberty and our way of life.
So there we go. So shout out to Knox County, Tennessee Mayor. If you guys don't know, that's Knoxville. That's their area. So shout out to Knox County, Tennessee Mayor Glenn Jacobs, also known as Kane from WWEF. Yeah, I met him at Politicon. This guy's humongous, man. This guy's like a literal wall of a man. Like you see somebody on television is one thing, but to see him in person, I mean, it's crazy. This guy's humongous, man. Like it's crazy. It really is. So shout out to him though. Shout out to Kane. And he was one of the main guys back when C-19 first started to really get rocking and rolling. He's one of the first guys that was really against all these lockdowns and everything. Tennessee was a state we really didn't lock down too much. I mean, it was a brief kind of shutdown, but not really. We were open before a lot of states were. Tennessee, Georgia, we were open, and it wasn't really this big thing about hospitals being overwhelmed. That was always a lie. Because remember, they said that the hospitals are overwhelmed and nurses are just running ragged, all this and that. That wasn't really true. Not really, because when they sent the hospital boat to New York City, it wasn't really used. So if they were so overwhelmed, if they were so just burdened with this COVID outbreak, then why was that boat not even really used? What was the purpose of deploying it? It's because it was a bunch of people talking about a thing that wasn't really going on. Oh yeah, he definitely bigger than. I got a picture with me and Kane. You might not have seen it, but I've shown it before. I'll show it one more time, then I keep on moving here. But yeah, and for reference, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I don't know if I can find it right now, just on the drop of a hat. But here we go. I am 6'3". I'm not a small person, but Kane is just big. Kane is big. Now this is me in 2020, I believe, 2020 or 2019, one of the two. That's me, and that's Kane. I'm 6'3", 220 pounds. Look how small I look next to Kane. It's like going to work with your dad. Yeah, it's like I'm about 12, 13 years old right there. I'm a full grown man. This man is humongous. Look at this. Again, I am 6'3", 200, probably about 20 pounds right there. This guy right here was just humongous. It was crazy. But yeah, really nice guy. Really just down to earth, humble, approachable person. Yeah, so shout out to Glenn Jacobs, mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, Knoxville area. Also known as Kane from WWEF. All right. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, that's not 2 inches of difference, not at all. That's about 5 to 6 of difference. Okay, because I'm gonna show you another picture that I have of somebody else. And you'll kind of understand. Like, it's kind of hard to tell from pictures. Like, you gotta see somebody in person to really, you gotta see me in person to really understand. But I got another picture that I might be able to show you to give you a better visualization of height. Because like I said, some of these pictures you can't really tell. All right, hold on. Y'all give me a second. I promise I'll pull it up. Okay, so look. This is me at a Brexit Christmas party. What was this, last year? It might have, what was it? It might have been 22. It might have been 2022, probably. Yeah, so that's Craig Long next to me. Now, Craig in a blue blazer, that's me right there, of course. Jasmine is tall. Jasmine is like 6 foot. She got on a pair of heels too. But Craig is not 7 foot. Craig is 6'4". So you see the difference. He's taller than me, but not as tall as Kane was. All right. So that's the difference right there. All right. Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, let's keep on moving here. We got more videos. Speaking about CDC and things that are not going right, do you guys? Nah, that's only my friend, just friends. Don't start nothing. Jasmine is my friend. That's it. All right. But Beyond Meat, speaking about fake stuff and CDC guidelines, government not giving you the right thing. Do you guys eat Beyond Meat or any of these vegan burgers, vegan alternatives? Sometimes they're good if you have whole food. If you're eating the vegetables, you got whole food, it's good. But when you have some of these things, some of these concoctions, it's plant-based, you got to ask yourself, what kind of plant is it? What kind of plant is it? Is it a plant from the ground, or is it a manufacturing production plant? Let's watch this.
More breaking news on the fake meat forefront. Did you guys hear that Beyond Meat, the plant-based meat company, is involved in 2 separate lawsuits? Let's spill the tea. The first one is for false advertising, stating that they overstate their protein content in their products by over 30%, and that they haven't been following the strict FDA regulations' rigorous testing methods. The second one is that they're falsely representing that their products are free from synthetic ingredients. I just made a video on the ingredient methyl cellulose. Methyl cellulose they put in their products as well. This is a bulk forming laxative that increases the amount of water in your stools and helps make them softer and easier to pass. Stay away from this stuff, you guys.
Wait a minute, what was that last part? This is a bulk forming laxative that increases the amount of water in your stools, making it easier to pass, and they're putting that in your food. Now, are you going to find that in an apple or an orange or like a whole food? But you're going to find that in some of these, these concoctions you have in the factory, because you got ingredients you put together. Okay, it's not meat, but it's like a chemical, and it's going to have an effect on your body. They're realizing it's causing constipation. Now they got to put certain chemicals in there to kind of remove that. Then you got to put something that it kind of, so now you just got chemical, too much of that in your food. So if you're going to have the vegan lifestyle, maybe you want to just stick to just regular vegetables, okay? Basic things that don't have a list of ingredients. Once you get into all the ingredients, you read in the back of the box and you can't read the ingredients. That might not be what you want to do. You might want to go for something a little bit more simple, basic stuff. Sweet potatoes, things like this, rather than this Impossible Burger that has about 45 ingredients on the back. Okay, so yeah, you don't want to have that happen. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not trying to have food that has a laxative built into it. That's not what I'm into. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to Big Fani. Okay, Big Fani. Now, I'm not going to play a lot from this situation, but of course, there was a hearing on Friday about Fani Willis potentially being removed. And she could be removed within the next 2 weeks, possibly. Or there could be a decision on her removal in the next 2 weeks. All right, let's watch this here.
And those aren't ones I can make at this moment. And so I will be taking the time to make sure that I give this case the full consideration it's due. I hope to have an answer for everyone within the next 2 weeks. Until that point, If there are any other issues that come up, counsel can reach out, and we'll have an order posted on the docket. Thank you all. We're off the record.
So this is Judge Scott McAfee. Scott McAfee had the hearing on Friday about Fani, whether she's going to be removed or not. And it was a dumpster fire. The hearing from her lawyer, it was a dumpster fire. It was a mess. Now, let's watch the other side, the side against Fani. Let's hear some of his argument against her. All right. Some of the closing argument against Fani. Let's hear it. Because this right here was really, really good. This was much better than Fani Willis's lawyer in his closing argument.
I'm going to talk further about conflicts, and I'm going to assume the most difficult standard for us to meet, which is actual conflict. There are 6 different actual conflicts of interest in this case, any one of which warrants disqualification, but collectively practically compelling. First, the financial conflict that's already been covered. Second, the personal ambition, political ambition. Third, there's a dovetailed or complementary pattern of deceit and concealment of the relationship and the money. Fourth, the speech at the church. Fifth, the motion for protective order that the DA filed in Mr. Wade's divorce case. Sixth, the way the state has conducted the defense of this motion to disqualify, especially the hearing. On the financial piece, the court asked for a limiting principle and asked about materiality. The limiting principle is whatever impairs the independent professional judgment of the lawyer. That is applied routinely.
Now, this is a pretty long closing statement, but again, this is the lawyer who is against Fani and giving the reasons why she should be off the case, why she should be removed from the case and disqualified from the case. And he had an amazing time. He did an amazing thing. I want to play the last little bit of it so you can really get the kind of gist of what he was talking about here.
That shows that the DA's office is serving the personal interests of the DA and Mr. Wade in carrying out further concealment and cover-up of their relationship, and not the cause of justice they are sworn to serve. That is a conflict of interest. It's a continuation of the wrongful pattern of concealment and cover-up that they've engaged in since the beginning. But now they've enlisted the entire office in the enterprise. In the written response to the motion to disqualify, they said this, and I quote, "Should be absolutely clear, there is no evidence that DA Willis derived any financial benefit from Mr. Wade." That's on page 15. Flat out false. 10 lawyers in this case put their name on that, starting with the DA. So throw another log on the bonfire of conflicts of interest. The problem here is the DA cannot distinguish between her personal interests and ambitions on the one hand and her public duties as a prosecutor on the other, and apparently neither can anyone else in their office. Of the 6 conflicts I've identified, only one is subject to a conflict in the evidence. This is a case study in what happens when you operate under a conflict of interest. It's put an irreparable stain on the case. Think of the message that would be sent if they were not disqualified. If this is tolerated, we'll get more of it. This office is a global laughingstock because of their conduct. They should be disqualified and the case should be dismissed.
Mic drop moment. Mic drop moment. Paw said, "Look, man, this is ridiculous. They ought to be disqualified. This is an embarrassment." Just walked off. Closed it perfect. His argument, again, I didn't play the whole thing here. It was about 10 minutes. He broke it down into 6 pieces. It was very well crafted. Not too much stuttering, stammering. Actually, no stuttering or stammering. It was very well done. Straight to the point. Made his points in a very cogent, direct way. He was amazing. He did fantastic. Look, if I ever, which I'm not, knock on wood, if I ever get in trouble, I want my man right there on my side. I want him on my side. Now, however, Fani Willis's lawyer, you know what? You know what's funny? Somebody was saying that I was watching Lead Attorney. Shout out Lead Attorney. I was watching Lead Attorney, and he, in the chat, people were talking about this is a pattern with Fani, meaning she's not hiring the correct people for very important tasks. Like, okay, you're going to hire Big Nate to prosecute the president of the USA when he has zero experience even prosecuting felonies. Not one felony under his belt, but you want to bring him on to prosecute Donald Trump? Really? A president for the first time ever? I mean, talk about not qualified. There's a pattern. Now, the judge, Scott McAfee, when Fani's lawyer came to the stand, was looking like this. He was like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? It was really, really bad. It was real bad. Now, we're going to play some of Fani's lawyer struggling, and be ready to cringe because it was most certainly cringeworthy. All right. Now, let's watch. And before we start, why is he a white lawyer? Why is he white? Why couldn't she hire, get some black excellence on the stage? Now, I'm not a racist. I don't care what color the lawyer is. I just told you, my man right there that was just on the stand, if I'm in trouble, I'm hiring him. I don't care, black, white. Look, if I'm in trouble, I want the best person for the job. But wasn't it Fani Willis who brought up the whole race thing, talking about the reason why they're talking about Nathan Wade is because he's a black man, and wasn't that her that said that in church? So now all this blackity black stuff go out the window, and you still get a guy who's unqualified. That's crazy. Talk about a bad judge of character. I mean, my goodness. Watch this.
What I would say is misstates the law as it relates to what the law or what is required in order for an elected district attorney and their office to be disqualified. And what I would submit to the court is...
Let's go back to that. Show me how.
Yes. Show you how.
So I think the first one they cited was battle versus the state. Certainly a conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety would be the grounds of disqualification.
Well, I mean, the judge is like trying to say, okay, sir, like you need to give me this and this, and the lawyer unprepared, nervous, stuttering and stammering.
Well,
there are a number of these cases that seem to exclusively rely on the appearance of impropriety.
Right.
So they acknowledge that there's some ambiguity here, that sometimes Whitworth gets cited to Ventura, and we've got this quote that comes up where it's just they only cite to an actual conflict that must be involved. They acknowledge the ambiguity. You're saying there's no ambiguity whatsoever.
I am.
My goodness. I mean, this guy, but we got more from the struggling lawyer. We have more from the struggling lawyer.
As well as large-scale cases like this one, and much larger. And they also there's a lot of high-profile prosecutions. If Miss Willis's ultimate goal by hiring Mr. Wade was for her financial benefit, then she would put Mr. Wade on every single one of those cases. Though she could certainly revel in the riches and lavish lifestyle that has been referred to by defense counsel, as well as.
I mean, like the demeanor difference between him and the other guy was crazy. Now, there were plenty of points where this lawyer was being handed a Post-it note. So if you're struggling really bad up on the stand, your team, people that are with you, will come up and hand you Post-it notes to be like, okay, you need to say this or do that. He kept getting Post-it notes. Now, I'm trying to find one instance of him getting the Post-it note because you got to really see it. Hold on. Y'all give me a second here because this was pretty important. Yeah, it's pretty important, but I might not necessarily be able to find it. Now, again, he did give some Post-it notes. It was pretty embarrassing. And it got so bad. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of this situation right here. Now, if you don't know, this is Chelino Sanchez. He was a narco corridor singer. He would sing about the narco, the drugs, right? Now, unfortunately, one night he's performing, he gets a note on stage that says that he is a dead man, basically. And he wound up, unfortunately, being taken away. He died. It might have been right that night. I'm not sure when it was, but yeah. He got a note on stage that said that his life was over with, and he was reading it right there, and he still was able to perform. Look at his face. Got the note, read it, and it was like, okay, what am I going to do? RIP to him, but yeah, that's what happened. Now, I want to play music here because they don't try to block me on YouTube and whatnot, but yeah. That is how it looked when my man was on stage getting the Post-it notes. So I was like, yo, Chelino Sanchez part 2, because it did not look happy at all. Fani came up on the stage and gave him a Post-it note. It was a mess. The lawyer was so bad. Just on the strength of him, she might get tossed out. It was really bad. Stuttering and stammering and all that lip smacking. Look, I've not had one drop of water this entire stream. It's almost been 2 hours talking nonstop, not one drop of water. The last stream I did on Wednesday, I had no water. If you are all that, you're dehydrated. You're drinking coffee. You're not eating foods that hydrate you or drinking water that hydrates you throughout the day. You are probably nervous. You got a lot of stuff going on. We're doing all. And if you're going to do a podcast, can I just say this right quick? You know a trick that I do before I do a podcast? I brush my teeth. Before every podcast, I brush my teeth probably two to 3 times a day. And before a podcast, I brush my teeth, my tongue, everything. And that helps me to be able to talk without having to drink water or to be trying to, all that smacking and stuff like that. You're dehydrated. So yeah, he was doing that all throughout his argument. It's like, my man, if you can't speak for 10 minutes or more without doing all that, you got a problem. I'm not sure being a lawyer is a job for you. Yeah, if you're nervous, like you're nervous. But look, at a certain point, if you're Fani Willis, you need to hire somebody that will not crack under pressure like that. Okay. And again, it goes back to not hiring the right people. You hiring a guy with no experience prosecuting felonies. If you want someone that'll be able to prosecute the case well, that'll do a good job, maybe they should have some experience in what you're doing. If you have a very important case, if I'm going after mob bosses or a president or somebody big with a boatload of money that's going to get international attention, we ain't talking about Johnny down the block, a regular dope down the street. We ain't talking about just some regular person in your community. We're talking about the president. You want to get him, hire a professional that knows what they're doing, that'll be able to do it the best job possible, not just this random person that you might have just run into in Midtown Atlanta, okay, at the bar. That's what she does. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All righty. Now, here's something else. Can we talk about the migrants a little bit more here? Eric Adams is giving the migrants prepaid debit cards. Imagine that. Imagine coming to the country illegally or being an asylum seeker or whatever it is, not being a citizen, a non-citizen getting a prepaid debit card. And not only is he giving the migrants a prepaid debit card, he's defending it, talking about it saves money. It's like, really? Giving migrants free money saves money? Does that make any sense? Now, before we get into it, yeah, shout out to all the guys who drink coffee out there, the guys and girls that drink coffee. If you drink coffee, that's fine. But if you drink coffee, I wouldn't recommend it before you get a big speech, because it'll dehydrate you. It'll make your mouth dry. Yeah, coffee and soda, of course, any kind of sugar. Any kind of sugar will dehydrate you, or it'll give you a dry mouth. It's just not a really good thing to do. I don't eat before a stream. I eat usually 3 hours before a stream. So I just make sure that I'm hydrated, I'm fed, I'm not fresh off a meal and being sleepy, getting the itis. I want to be at top level, max energy. Now let's watch your man, Eric Adams. You complain about the migrants and all that good stuff, but you don't want to do what's necessary to remove them from the city, to reduce the problem or to outright eliminate it. You got to do certain things. But if you don't want to do that, the problem will persist.
We're saving approximately $600,000 a month, $7.2 million a year by giving individuals a card that allows them to buy food or baby supplies, spending $13 a day on food. That's cheaper. That's less food waste. This is a real win-win for us. And the money will go into the local economy because now we go into the local stores, supermarkets, where we're going to hire local. This is a smart way to bring down the cost and replace the money back into our city.
So you're talking about this is a good thing and it's a good solution. But the solution, the real solution is to stop being a sanctuary. You're trying to make all these little workarounds, all these little ways to get around the actual problem, which is the fact that you're a sanctuary city in New York City and a sanctuary state in New York State coming from the governor, Kathy Hochul. That's the problem. It's like, okay, if you have some kind of cut, bruise, or wound, and you have you're bleeding or whatever, rather than just, you might need stitches at a certain point. You're trying to put Band-Aid, but it's not healing properly because you're not doing what you actually have to do, which is to get stitches to close it up. Okay? Do what you need to do to fix the problem rather than trying to do little workarounds. Oh, I don't want to get stitches. I'm going to just get a Band-Aid. But the Band-Aid ain't fixing it. You're just kind of covering it up at best, but you're not getting down to the core of the problem. And you'll make it worse because now people are going to realize you can go to New York City and be a so-called migrant and get a prepaid debit card. Now, if it's me, how about this? How about I learn Spanish more than I do right now, and I go out there and I behave as a migrant. I could pass for African. I could pass for Dominican. I could pass for anything. I could speak some Spanish, and I look like I'm African a little bit. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out there with my boys from Guinea, from Nigeria, Ghana, etc., Senegal, and I got the voice. I'm an African. Hey, I come from Senegal. I don't have any money. I have no money. Maya, please give me that prepaid debit card. I beg, give me the debit card today. I have no money. Meanwhile, I'm a whole African American. Why can't I do that? Do I need an identification to become a migrant? Must I have papers? I can forge all that. I would never do that because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I'm just saying, this is so dumb. All you're going to do is just create more of the problem. The same thing, California. In California, they have all these services for the homeless people, which is why you have so many homeless people out there, is because you got all these services. You got free crack pipes. You got free meth pipes. Free heroin needles, free this, free that, free food, free. That's going to attract people that smoke crack and shoot heroin and like being homeless from all over the country, all over the whole country, all over the whole world. They would go to California to be homeless, to engage in the crack smoking activities because you're incentivizing it. You're attracting them to come to your particular place. Again, if I was in Podunkville, USA, and I smoked crack all day, and I was able to hitchhike on a train to go to Los Angeles and smoke crack out there, I'm like, okay, I can be at Podunkville, USA, smoking crack, or LA. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going right to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'm going to set up my tent right there on the star of Cuba Gooding Jr. and have me a crack smoking field day. That's what I would do if I was that kind of person. And that's why they're out there in droves. But I digress. Let's keep on rocking here. We got a few more to get to. Then we're going to get to the calls. I got to get to, I don't want to end on the bad note. I want to get to Gavin. Okay, let's talk about Gavin right quick. Now, Gavin Newsom, this is crazy. Minimum wage laws. You know what? This story is it's validating to me because I've always said minimum wage laws are bogus. There should be no minimum wage. And you know why I say that? Because the market determines the wage. Understand this. Minimum wage in Tennessee, I think, is $7.25, the federal minimum. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. Tennessee minimum wage, $7.25. That's minimum wage. Now, right next to me is a McDonald's. And they're starting at 15, I think. So McDonald's, 15 an hour. Why are they paying such a high wage? It's because there's a demand for the workers. And people are willing to pay higher for the food. So as a result, they could pay higher. That's it. Now, if I was in a much smaller town where it's not a lot of jobs or money, and they can't pay as much. So there are a few things that go into it. Okay, the location, demand, all of that goes into what the wage is. That's what should determine the wage, not the government at all. At all. And here's something else. When the wage becomes too high, things are going to happen. You're going to have businesses shut down. And what's funny is that they say this is going to help the little guy as far as having a high minimum wage. Well, it's going to help the little guy, ABL. You don't want to see people get paid more money? That's not how things work. People, normies that don't understand economics, will think that if a person works a job and they get 35 hours a week at $10, they think if the person gets a quote unquote raise to $15 or $20, they'll get double the money. That's not how that's going to work. They might not keep their job. If they do keep it, they're going to have fewer hours to the point where they may end up doing more work in a shorter amount of time. And at the end of the day, their take-home pay is nearly the same. That's if they keep their job. A lot of small businesses, mom and pop shops, they might have 2 or 3 employees. They're going to totally shut down. But the big businesses, Walmart, Target, etc., Amazon, they'll keep on going. They can afford to lose $1 billion. Mom and pop, if they lose $1,000, is a problem. The higher minimum wage negatively impacts people that make lower amounts of money. It helps corporations, big banks, because they can afford to take losses while the small guys can't. And here's something else. The story about Gavin Newsom. So his friend, a guy by the name of Greg Flynn, and it's crazy because Gavin Newsom and Greg Flynn went to the same high school. They attended the same high school in California. Now, I'm not saying they were classmates. They're about 3 to 4 years apart in age, with Gavin being younger at 56, Greg Flynn at 59 or 60 years old. They went to the same high school. Maybe they weren't classmates, but they did go to the same high school. These are friends. They know each other. Greg Flynn has contributed $100,000 in one campaign, $64,000 in the other campaign, and Greg Flynn acquired Gavin Newsom's Napa Valley Resort. So these guys have been friends for a very long time, many years, went to the same high school, get money together, all that good stuff. So then when a new law comes out that raises the very high wage in California from 16, listen, the wage in California is $16 an hour minimum. And you're wondering why gas costs, what, 6 per gallon, 5 per gallon? You're wondering why it's so expensive. You're wondering why you're paying $500,000 for a house in the ghetto in Los Angeles. It's because you got to pay these very high wages. It don't make any sense. And if you're homeless with no money, how are you really going to be able to get by? Oh, by the taxpayer. Taxes, 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 taxes. At a certain point, you run out of the next guy's money, but different story. Anyway, so Gavin is having to negotiate with business owners, meaning his friend, So his friend is the largest franchiser of Panera Bread in the state of California with over 24 locations in the state. So there's a provision in the law that exempts his friend from the minimum wage hike from 16 to 20 for fast food restaurants. And the law says if you partially operate as a bakery and you make single serve bread items that are sold individually, you're going to be exempt from the law. Now, I was reading the comments. You guys are saying, well, Subway would count to make their own bread. Well, can you buy Subway? Can you buy the bread individually? Or is the bread sold as a sub? You see how that works? Now, I don't know. I've never gone to Subway and said, hey, can I get a sub with nothing on it? How does that really work? Even if you bought a sandwich with no sandwich ingredients and the bread only, would that count as a single serve bread item? I don't really know. But ultimately, the provision was targeted for Panera Bread and a place called Boudin, basically because they kind of fell under the same umbrella because of Gavin Newsom's friend negotiating with him. So the message is, if you pay $164,000 to Gavin Newsom, if you buy Gavin Newsom's resort in Napa Valley, if you are Gavin Newsom's high school classmate, allegedly, if you are Gavin Newsom's golfing buddy, his friend, you get exempt from the law and everyone else doesn't. And if the law was so good and it made sense, then why do you need an exemption at all? It's dumb. But anyway, let's just watch this.
Big deal. Yeah, $20 an hour. 80% of the workforce. There's a lot of mythology about fast food. You know, Johnny used to learn the value of hard work. You know, he'd work a few hours in his first job. That's not the case, folks. That's a romanticized version of a world that doesn't exist. We have the opportunity to reward that contribution.
So Gavin, did you hear that? Gavin said the world in which little Johnny got his first job and worked his way up doesn't exist anymore. So what are you to do when you're 16 years old and you're trying to get a job for the first time? I mean, you still need that experience. When I was 16, my first job, I worked at Sam's Club. And then I worked at Garden Ridge, basically like at home now, like a home and garden store, loading up trucks and pulling carts. And I got paid $6.25 and $6.50 respectively at both jobs. And then I worked at Old Country Buffet at age 17 in high school. And I started at $6.25 and I ended at 8 when I was 21. So I was in high school and college working at Old Country Buffet. Okay, I needed those jobs to get my foot in the door. What am I going to do at age 16 in high school? Where am I going to work? What am I going to do at that age?
Reward that sacrifice and stabilize an industry in turn.
Now, Fox News has reached out to the Panera owner and the governor. Greg Flynn says that he played no role in formulating the exemption, and Newsom office stating, quote, the governor never met with Flynn about this bill, and this story is absurd. Our legal team has reviewed it, and it appears Panera is not exempt from the law.
That's a lie. That's a whole lie, because they asked Newsom about it, and Newsom said that the negotiation with the Panera franchise owner, Greg Flynn, was part of the process, and that's the reason why they put the provision in there. This is a lie. I don't know why they would lie like that, because it's obvious.
All right.
But I ain't gonna get into this right here. So that's pretty much what's happening with California and the exemption for the high minimum wage. Again, the minimum wage is 16, already high, but for certain fast food restaurants, they got to pay $20 an hour minimum wage. I mean, and here's my question. What do teachers get paid in California? How about police, fire? I mean, at a certain point, if you keep raising the wage higher and higher and higher, are you having wages for everyone else rise at the same time? And if the rising tide lifts all boats, so to speak, then doesn't that also rise the prices of goods and services? So when you're having these high minimum wages, when you're having these artificial wage increases, all you do at a certain point is just make a lateral move. You're not going forward. You're just going from side to side. You got more money as far as a wage, but in essence, you're not getting any more money, because even if you do get paid more at the end of the day on your check, that will be taken away immediately by local inflation. Inflation is bad across the country. It's an issue all over the country, but in California, it's much worse. Housing, food, gas, everything is more expensive over there. Your rent, I showed the rent, and I think 3 of the 4 places in the country with the highest rent for a 1-bedroom were in California. Everything is higher in that particular state than it is in the rest of the country. That's the reality. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Adam, you just missed it. Adam, I was just talking about it just now, about Gavin and the minimum wage. So if you got the TiVo function, TiVo, that's old school. What is it called? Is it still called rewind when you go back, when you seek back in a video or a song? Is it still called rewind, or is it something else? Basically, rewind and you'll be able to check it out, boss. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you. We got calls on deck. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Before we do that, we got super chats on deck. If you're seeing ads, pardon me, that's YouTube doing that. And I think I could turn it off, but I don't know how to do it right now. So please pardon me if you're seeing ads. Okay, shout out to Apple, who says, in California, baking bread, 16, flipping burgers, 20, being a Democrat insider, priceless. Such blatant corruption. I hope all the Panera employees quit. He also says, so much for Democrats helping working class. He says, again, by the way, is Panera any good? We don't have in Canada. It's okay. Panera Bread, I used to go there. Panera Bread is a place I would go to meet people. Like when I was still doing my graphic design stuff, I would have meetings in Panera Bread or Starbucks. It's like Starbucks. It's okay. It's not really anything I wouldn't go out of my way to go to a Panera Bread and get anything. Okay, I was in Panera Bread recently because I had to use the bathroom right quick. Okay, I'm on the road. Okay, cool. Panera Bread, they got bathrooms. We go in there right quick, use the bathroom, and just go about my business. And you know what? I had a thought in my head to be nice and get something just to use the bathroom, like get a drink, you know. But I was like, no, I'm good. I'm straight. And this is before all the stuff about Gavin came out. And really, it's not even about Panera Bread specifically. It's about this guy who's a big franchise owner in California. He's not the owner of the actual Panera Bread restaurant. Anyway, shout out to Apple again, who says Deer Creek High School, Edmond, Oklahoma, had a very interesting fundraiser. Be forewarned, it's both gross and cringe. Yeah, I'm not doing that one. I saw that. That's going to be way too beyond me. I'll tell you what. You guys, please don't search that. And I know when I say that, you're going to do it anyway because you guys ain't going to listen to me sometimes. But I don't want to have that on my computer at all, because if I have that on my computer, I'm going to get the feds come knocking, and I don't want that kind of energy. I don't want to see that footage. I'm good. I'm totally fine. But thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Apple again, who says, BLM chick says, Chiefs Super Bowl win, racist. Thoughts? So a BLM chick says the Chiefs winning the big game is a racist. I don't understand. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't really understand. Also, shout out to Concert LD, who says, if Wade and Fani get removed, they should be forced to pay back all the money plus attorney fees. Yeah, for sure. They should. I doubt that'll happen. But yeah, it could. Thank you to Tom's Bought a Wonderful Views, who says she basically confessed to crime she committed on the stand. Her use of funds is a crime. Exactly. The whole thing about her taking campaign funds, you can't do that. Yeah, you definitely can't do that. That's how George Santos got hemmed up, because George Santos took campaign money and just spent it on himself. He took campaign money. Like, what he did was write a check to himself from the campaign money and go shopping with it. You can't do that. That's not legal. So that's why he got canned from the Senate. So if George Santos got canned from the Senate for doing what he did, Fani should be canned from the DA's office. Look, George Santos was a senator, a congressman. He was a U.S. congressman in the House, a House rep from New York, a U.S. House rep in D.C. from New York. Fani Willis, a Fulton County DA. So if he got removed from the Senate, then Fani should also be gone from the DA's office for sure. Let me see. Thank you to Apple again who says, ABL, remember that video of the homeless man who got banned from the rec center because of migrants? It reminds him of G.K. Chesterton's quote, "In the world of lies, the man who speaks the truth is considered crazy." For sure. Absolutely. Shout out to Apple again who says, ABL, these Antifa protesters, paid, true believers, a combination. Definitely a combination, because to move people from point A to point B, it costs money. So there's definitely some money involved, but I think they also kind of believe what they're in. Apple says, hey, but you worked at Old Country Buffet. Who's the best tippers? I wasn't out on the floor, so I don't know too much about that. I was in the back of the house washing dishes. I was back at the house guy. I wasn't out in the front, so I have no idea. Also, Apple says, hey, ABL, when you show a rescue video, please give us trigger warning for all the white supremacy, heteronormative, mansplaining, transphobia. Please, I got you, boss. Don't even worry about it. That could Apple again who says, guaranteed that those rescuers were MAGA people. 100%. 100%. That could HGB boosting who says, can you please play the Biden Zoom meeting where he was asked by some black leaders, now that we voted for you, what do we get for our votes? Well, I can't do that right now, but thank you for your super chat. Shout out to Lothair who says, my friend from Old Job told me about this. He was actually on that bridge when it happened, when the truck was hanging from a thread almost off the bridge. Traffic in Louisville is insane. That's wild. He also says, can't call in tonight, busy today at the restaurant, but I'm always listening, man. Give me a shout out, ABL, keep up the good work. Thank you for your super chat, man. And shout out to you, boss. Enjoy the show, and hopefully everything's cool at the restaurant. Shout out to Ron Henderson who says, servicemen like this are the reason why Chinese may kick our butt if it comes down to it. That was what I read earlier in reference to the LGBTQ element of P military servicemen. Thank you to Teflon who says, Anthony, appreciate you with the thumbs up. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Thank you to Clay Bisbee 704 who says, I thought you were going to go out there with TLA when he invited you. That would have been mad cool. Well, I wasn't even in there for the invite, so I was there briefly and didn't see him invite me. So shout out to my man, lead attorney. Thank you to Elvin Recio, who says, most companies that will pay the $20 an hour minimum wage, the employees will work less hours. Also, this is why Trump is great. He has companies and knows the economics. It will be less hours for employees. Exactly. Yeah. If you were making $10 an hour and it gets raised to 15 or 20, I mean, there's got to be sacrifices made. People think that these companies just have endless pots of gold at the end of a rainbow. They could just pay whatever. That's not how it works. You know, money don't grow on trees. These people are like children. They don't understand the way that this world works. They don't get it. They don't understand. All right. But anyway, let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype. If it doesn't work right, don't blame me. Blame the white man, because you know it ain't my fault. And let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. The number to call, 434-658-1220. All righty. Yeah, I don't think that people understand anything about economics, but we're going to see how California plays. I mean, we're seeing what's happening right now with California. We're seeing it for sure. Why is that a big thing to play? Because I've seen that same request before about that Zoom meeting. Why is that a big thing to play? I don't understand. Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, crypto and stocks. I don't know nothing about that. Hey man, don't get me in trouble talking about crypto and stocks, because I have no idea about that. All right, let's see if the Skype's going to work. If I get some calls coming in, the number to call, 434-658-1220. There's also an email in the description that should work just fine as well. All right, I'm going to restart Skype because I think it's acting up as per usual. All right, let's go ahead and do this here. Yeah, Skype, I mean, it sucks a little bit. When it works fine. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Jesse Mendez says 20 an hour, less employees, more work per person. Yeah, exactly. So you're going to work harder and you're going to have longer hours. I mean, shorter hours, but working harder. Make that make sense. All right. Who am I speaking to? 310?
Oh, what's up, ABL? It's Doobie from California.
All right, man. What's going on?
Anyway, just wanted to say good show as always, and just I usually just ask you about food or like what you do for pain and stuff. But what do you do when you're in pain? What do you take or what do you do?
Well, I don't really have pain, so it's kind of hard to answer, really. Now I'll tell you this though. I'm not going to lie to you too much. Sometimes I have back pain, and I just do like certain stretches. That's the main thing I do. I mean, they have certain videos on YouTube where it tells you how to stretch, and that can kind of alleviate your back pain.
Yeah, self-help. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and also laying on the hard surface, like on the ground floor, like hardwood floor, like I'm talking about asphalt, concrete, something that's like a very hard surface. Lay on that flat.
I agree 110% right there, buddy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do for sure. And then if I really need it, go to get a massage or something like that, like an actual medical massage, something like that. It help too.
Alrighty. I just wanted to keep it really short, but awesome show. Watch you all the time. And yeah, I'm doing while I'm on the phone, doing the one meal a day thing.
Yeah.
That's the new thing, man.
Absolutely, man. It's great, man, because when you start doing it, you realize that you didn't really need the 3. You can get by with the 1. Your body will start to adapt, and you'll see positive results.
And everybody, you will have extremely more energy. Just have one good meal and cut out the sugar, and I guarantee everybody's going to feel better. All right, ABL, you get on with your show. Love you, and talk to you next time.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, yeah, shout out to the caller. Now, what you guys don't want to do is start taking these. I saw it was one guy. I forget what he was taking. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it might have been a goody powder. Remember, that's an old school. That's an old school method for headaches. This guy was taking a goody powder every day after work, and he wound up having an ulcer because it burned a hole in his intestine. I think that's what it was. It was something like that because it was every day he was taking it off of work because he had a labor job. His back was hurting. He kept taking that, and then it wound up damaging him beyond the back problem. 202, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is No White Guilt. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Not too much. I just wanted to call and lend some credence to what you were saying earlier about different schools and how it doesn't matter whether it's public, private, inexpensive, very expensive. In my community, we notice that we have parents from all of these different environments. And everywhere you look, doesn't matter how religious, how expensive, like I say, how public and how inexpensive, it's full. The textbooks, the teaching is full of leftist ideology, completely indoctrinating the kids, and they plan on stepping it up even further with, of course, the things like Google, Gemini, and we'll see. The future is going to be just increasingly leftist. You have to be on top of your children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, because just like you say, Bill, they are getting them in these school environments can be super expensive, and indoctrinating them. The other thing that we notice is that in virtually all of the cases, they justify the ideology anything, from the transgenders to whatever you can open borders. They justify them with retributive justice against white people. So it's always white people did this, and so therefore we need to get rid of that. White people adopted this from another group of people and they enjoy it, so we have to get rid of it, and just case after case. So just wanted to throw some credence on what you were mentioning earlier, some of the clips, that it is as leftist as it gets. And if anybody else has any stories, call in and share them with the community, because we need to be talking to each other and so we can tell our family and friends about what's happening around the country. But really appreciate you, man. You're doing a great job, and keep it up.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Great call. Like I said, it's all over the place, and you got to talk about it because you may not even know what's happening. It could be in your community, and you don't even know what's going on. So definitely get the word out there. 708, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? I was a little late to that one. Let's keep on rocking here. Let's go. 912, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on, ABL? It's your boy, Joel Davis Media Network. How you doing, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's going on with you?
Oh, it's going great, man. I wanted to tell you once again, your show was awesome. I've been listening to it tonight. I finally had a night off on the weekend. I can actually enjoy your show. I wanted to touch base on the Fani Willis case. What we actually saw, the closing arguments. I would have to say that Trump's team, the lawyer that he has, is on point. He broke down every law that was compromised to a science. I mean, if Ray Charles was alive and he being blind would have understood what this man was saying. Now, on the other hand, whoever was representing Fulton County, the lawyer there, I think dude had too many volumes, because every time he turned around, he was stuttering. He wasn't confident in his walk. He was talking in circles. And everything that he was trying to use as an argument to prove that they wasn't doing nothing wrong or unethical, the judge had his help reminding him, like, sir, we already seen the evidence on that. It is unethical. What are you trying to get at here? You're not proving your case. So, yeah, it was painful to watch. I don't know if you've seen that, bro, but that was painful.
It was bad. It was really bad. I was like, man, this guy, I don't know where they got this guy from, but they need to send him back, because that was a terrible performance.
It was so bad that you could see Fani Willis whenever they would take the camera over to the area where her and Nathan Wade was beside each other. Her head was down, like, Lord, I have lost this. This is over. I had a debate with a guy on TikTok when I had it live over there and had people calling in, and he swear out that, well, even if she gets found unethical, they still ain't gonna drop the case. Bro, nobody wants that caseload. What are you talking about? Nobody wants the caseload. It's too much for the other officers to handle. Cobb County doesn't want it. Let's see here. What's the other county? Forsyth doesn't want it. Man, I'm trying to think of the other counties around there.
Clayton County.
Yeah, all of them don't want it.
Clayton County.
Yeah, Clayton. Yeah, Clayton don't want it. Yeah, none of them want it. They don't want it. And they showing the world ain't going to go all the way to Savannah. That's Chatham County, near where I'm at. They don't want it.
Nah.
They definitely don't have the manpower to do it.
Right.
So it's a wrap, man. I mean, they're going to have to drop that case. They really do. I also want to talk about Gavin Newsom and everybody talking about this minimum wage on these jobs. The reason why the minimum wage is up is due to the fact, like you said, many normies think it's because it's just this law being pushed, but it's not that. It's because it's a high demand. Supply and demand, we already know that's basic economics, but I know a lot of normies don't know that. But like you just said, if the product is really popular with the customer, and the customer is really willing to pay a higher price for that product, guess what? You won't have exclusive extra money to raise the pay of your workers because you can afford to do it because of the price of that product being increased. You know what I mean? So if that being said, that's why they are able to offer $15 and $16 and $17 right now on a lot of these jobs. They usually get minimum wage. Now, what makes me upset is when you got these woke people trying to say that somebody working at a McDonald's or a Burger King, filling out fries and taking orders should get a $50 minimum an hour. I know you heard about that lady trying to fight for that in California.
Yeah.
That to me is asinine. That makes no sense. If you were to go and give people to get $50 an hour, you might as well sit there and multiply everything and prices all around California going 5 times higher. That's the way it would be. Everything would be 5 times higher. So milk would be almost $30 a gallon. You know what I'm saying? Eggs will be $20 a dozen. I mean, I'm just being 100 about it.
Yeah.
Because everything would have to increase. Because you paying your minimum wage a starter job like McDonald's $50 an hour. Make it make sense to me, because it really doesn't. I also wanted to highlight too some of the other points that you said tonight on there. I'm trying to hurry up because I know I ain't got that much time. Where you talking about Terry Crews and coming to Club Shay Shay and talking his truth about certain things and what he went through and the falling outs he had. At the end of the day, man, like you said before, as being a black conservative, and you going through it, I've gone through it, all of us has gone through it in this group here, is that a lot of times we get, how can I put this, marginalized because we don't have the same type of thinking that liberals want us to think. We're not stereotypical, and we don't believe that there is a monolithic person in our culture that's supposed to speak for us. We as conservatives feel like everybody has their own way of thinking. And at the end of the day, you're supposed to take your own way of thinking, take the ideas that you come up with, and you put it together with everybody else's ideas and see if it's going to come with the same common goal, and that is to make America great and to make America beautiful. And until we learn to do that, we will always be separated by the man who's going to act like he's trying to help us, but in the same time, he is oppressing us. And that's the liberal movement. And I'm just being 100 about it.
Absolutely.
Because when you hear about they saying white men in rural areas is the most dangerous, are you crazy? Those are the ones I would depend on when things go down. They the ones that got the underground bunkers. They the ones that got the weapons. They the ones that know the land better than a lot of us. I'm just saying.
Right on,
and
man.
not to mention too, the last time I checked in Chicago, it being an open target practice area, I don't never see no rural white men on the block shooting kids up left and right and taking families and breaking hearts. I see people my skin tone doing that over there in Chicago. But I digress. That's another story. But either way it goes, ABL, keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for my shout outs because my channel is growing. And hey, man, I love you to death, bro. And I hope that you continue to have this great success.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Anytime, bro.
All right. Shout out to my main man, Joel Davis Media Network. You guys go ahead and check him out on the YouTube. Again, Joel Davis Media Network. Shout out to him. And shout out to you guys as well. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Excuse me, 434-658-1220. There's also a Skype email in the description. If it doesn't work right, don't blame me. Blame the white man because you know it ain't my fault. Yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. Yeah, people. I think mainstream media, old school media, they want to attack the white guy in the rural area because they know that these guys cannot be controlled the same way that people in the city can be controlled, or that's what they think. That's their thought process, and that's just pretty much what it is. So they gotta attack these people to try and control them. That's all, and it's not really working the way that they would like. I think that's ultimately the issue here. So yeah, but in their attack of these guys from the mainstream media level will not work either. I mean, really, at that point, you're just being annoying. You're not really doing anything of any substance. So it is what it is. But shout out to you guys, though. I really appreciate y'all. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, blame the white man. Yeah. All right, let's keep on rolling here. All right, Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Devin.
All righty, what's going on?
Shout out, chat. I have a kind of a predicament. What's going on is that in my profession, I am a part of a national association, but in my profession, it was mostly accepted to perform in the South. And now that northern and western states are kind of grabbing onto it, the profession that is, there are woke people coming in and demanding DEI and things that I had hoped would never touch our profession, because we're a kind of a legal support profession. So we're supposed to be unbiased and all that, and now all this political correctness is coming in, and I'm going to have to deal with these people. I'm wondering if you have any tips on how to deal with them. I don't know if we certainly can't get rid of the people, but how can we get rid of the ideology?
Well, I don't really know. You're kind of being a little bit vague. I don't want to pry too much, but I know a little bit more about what kind of, what do you do and what kind of challenges you face.
Okay, so I am a court reporter, and there are several ways to be a court reporter. There's some people use those little machines, and some people use steno masks where they speak. They just repeat after what everybody's saying. Some people just hit record and then they transcribe later. And then you can be a court reporter in the court, or you can do depositions, or you can be, a police station stenographer. You can caption, you can close caption TV shows, stuff like that. And the way, all states accept that little machine, but it was mostly southern states that were accepting the steno mask. And now it's being accepted in more states. And it seems to have brought on this kind of this real major schism in our association. And now there's a minority of people that are screaming that, why isn't there a person of color on the board or whatever? And it's gotten kind of out of hand.
Wow. So, now how would that affect you? Are you still able to do your job? Are you still able just to kind of move along, or are they trying to bully you? How was that affecting you in your everyday just working?
Everyday working it's fine. And, I work alone. So most of the time I don't have any problems like that. But the thing is, you can't wait until it affects you.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a problem. I've seen people who have quit the good people who have quit the association or quit the board because they've been like tagged as a racist.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a tough one because, and you're working by yourself. You're not dealing with a team, so you're not dealing with other people trying to pressure you to do certain things. Now, I think those might have been on the board, they're having to collaborate, and people that are also on the board with them, or people that may be trying to hold the board accountable, like the general public, I guess that would be, and they want to call them a racist, and it becomes a pressure thing from the outside, kind of a political battle. But if you're just a person working, it shouldn't really affect you too much. There's not much you really can do in that situation other than just keep doing your job professionally and not really try to be too chumming with people that you know are not going to have your best interests at heart. I mean, what else can you do, really? You could try to, get to a board level if that's an option and make difference there, but that's going to be very challenging. You'll have more challenges in that role than you would just in your role right now of being a court reporter. So are you thinking about trying to go up a little bit and go into the board and get political, or do you just want to be where you are?
Well, I didn't want to have to do that. It wasn't in the plans at any rate. That's not something that I ever thought about doing. But, I feel like I got to figure out a way to be able to talk to these people who are unhappy, just to try and, I don't know. I know I can't change their mind.
Yeah, I mean, you can't change somebody's mind. That's nothing you can really do. I mean, if people have their opinion, it's just like them trying to change your mind. That's not going to happen. So it's going to be a clash.
Yeah.
So if it was me in your situation, I would just try to avoid the clash, or I'm going to face it head on. But I know if I face it head on, there's going to be a risk of me not being able to do a job anymore. Like, either they're going to try to get me out of there, they're going to call me a racist. I know it's going to be some challenges that come with that fight. So you're going to have to just kind of keep your head down, do your job, mind your business, not really trying to make a lot of buddies in the situation. If you could just do your own thing and try to avoid any kind of nonsense, okay, that's one way. Or face it head on, but understand what the consequences could be of facing it head on.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, I appreciate the input. I'm going to give it some thought.
Right on. Well, good luck with that. So thank you for your call.
Thanks, ABL.
All right now.
Bye.
So shout out to Devin. Hopefully everything works out and you don't got to do with these mouth breathers. And it's like, why would that kind of ideology impact you? You're a court reporter, just doing your job. Why would that, what's up with all the woke stuff? It's like, you're just doing your job. What's the problem? 631, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Ann from Long Island. I'm just calling you just for a quick question. What is a good neighborhood to move in Tennessee and it's affordable? Because I'm by myself.
Well, that's kind of a complicated question. So you got to ask yourself. Now, hold on. We got noise in the background now.
Yeah, that's you. Hold on. Let me turn it off. Hold on. My 21-year-old service dog just passed away, so I'm all by myself. I just want to, I don't want to be like in a dead area, but I don't want to be in a, nothing but like New York City all the time. You know what I'm saying? I loved Manhattan years ago, my whole life until now. It's nothing but a loser state. Tell you that right now. I had my dog cremated, a little Yorkshire Terrier. Okay, they charged me 4 Suffolk County taxes. What?
Wait. So to have your dog cremated, you got charged taxes?
They didn't charge the cremator because she was a service dog, which was $700. Okay. Then, so they didn't charge that, but they charged the tax, which came 4 Suffolk County taxes, a city tax, and a state tax for New York. I said, what's with the 4 Suffolk County taxes? What is that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was $300.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's insane here. I can't live here anymore. I cannot take the stupidity. The people that are running it are the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life. Just keep letting them in. It's okay. We got room. No, you don't. No, you don't. And we don't have any money. There's no middle class anywhere. Everybody's poor here. I've never been this poor in my life. I always lived in beautiful neighborhoods, And I just want to live in a fun place, but not crazy and where it's affordable. Because I'm pretty personable. I talk to everybody. I'm like that very happy person.
So do you want to live in the city area or rural area?
I always lived in the rural areas on Long Island, but that you're talking about New York, okay? So I don't know how Tennessee is as far as rural. And the city, I loved Manhattan. I went in there at least once a week on the weekends because that's considered off-peak. You could fly all over the place in the car. Not anymore. I would never go in there. It is a disgrace. I'm done with it. And the taxes are outrageous. You can't buy anything. You can't even buy a little tiny condo. Nothing. A 1-bedroom apartment is $3,000, $4,000. 1 bedroom. I'm like, I have to get out of here. And Tennessee's the place I want to go. That's the number one place the investors are talking about, Tennessee.
So how much do you want to pay for your rent?
I don't know. What would you consider, a fair price? I have a mortgage approval for $300,000, but I don't want to get the whole mortgage. I guess I have to. And it would be at 4%, which is, I think, pretty reasonable. I don't know.
I mean, you could do somewhere like Clarksville, Tennessee, which is probably about 45 minutes from Nashville, right on the Kentucky border. Clarksville, yep, that's a good place.
Really?
Low cost of living, right on the Kentucky border, not too far from Nashville. So if you want to go down to Nashville, enjoy.
I will be around all illegal aliens.
No, it's cool. Right. It's cool. Clarksville's.
That's what I have.
Clarksville's.
This is a state of emergency over here.
No, Clarksville's cool. Clarksville, outside of Knoxville, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to meet somebody too.
Oh.
Maybe happily ever after. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I did my kid thing without men around now, and they're all very successful. So, except my youngest one was murdered by a drunk driver. But now it's my turn. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I got you.
So I don't want it to be like I'm in the nursing home here because I'm very young at age and I'm very personable and very, well, according to men, I get asked out every single day. So I must be pretty anyway because I dress very femininely and stuff like that. But that's me. Some girls like dressing down. I like dressing up.
Right.
And, I want to just meet somebody that I really care about that. And not particularly have to marry, at my age. Just live together or something. Have a whole bunch of contracts made up as far as the money and stuff is concerned.
No, I hear you. So I got a few more calls on the line, but definitely check out Clarksville, Knox County, Sevierville, all of that by
that's the place to go here in New York.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for your
call. Go to Tennessee.
There you go. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Investors. Right You're welcome. Thank you. Right, You're wonderful. Thank you. All
right. Shout out to the caller. All righty. There we go. So head on over to Clarksville. It's cool. I know somebody in Clarksville and they're talking about the housing is it's nothing. And Nashville is right there. So shout out to her. Shout out to her. All right, Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Hey, I want to give a couple of perspectives that you talk about. last week. First is the Cam Newton perspective. I know that people were talking about were basically supporting Cam Newton, but I think that with Cam Newton, because what I've heard about Cam Newton, that he also likes to talk trash to people on at those 7-on-7 ones. That video that you saw with Cam Newton getting into the fight, that's not the first time he went viral. I remember with the first video where he went viral, talking trash to a kid. There was two videos that he went viral. The first one he went viral, where he's talking to the kid. The kid wasn't being disrespectful. However, Cam Newton is known to talk trash at those 7-on-7s. I think I like your advice for what you said about for Cam Newton not get into those situations, because even though that with him it may be just playful that he's talking trash, the other people may not even take it that way. And look what happened.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, and I would say that for Cam Newton, that he learned from it, and just for himself not to talk trash, and just on his part keep it professional.
Right.
The second one is on your Uncle ABL channel. By the way, I like it. It really is very intriguing on what you said about the whole dating scene of today, in today's generation.
Yes, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I want to talk about the one with the Daily Wire one, where they talk about the red pill, because mainly with Michael Knoll and what's that guy's name? The guy with the beard.
Ben Shapiro?
No, the one with the beard. Crap. I forgot his name. Anyway,
Matt Walsh?
Yes, Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because from what I was hearing, how they were talking, I don't think that they're out of touch. I think that because they're coming from a Catholic, when they were talking, they were coming from a Catholic point of view, especially when we talk about Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles. I know Matt Walsh, and I think Michael Knowles too. They're what we call traditional Catholics, which they go into they go to church that says in Latin, and those traditional Catholics are very gun ho about family. And I think that because they're coming from that perspective, I don't think they're out of touch with the dating scene. I think from what they're trying to say is, even though the way relationships are, especially with feminism, we have to revert back and go into and try to rebuild that traditional family to save society. I think that's where they were coming from.
Well, see, the thing is, there's a disconnect though, because I'm not saying they're wrong about trying to build the family back, because you got to have that nuclear family. That's the bedrock of civilization. Yeah. But the problem is the laws are in the way. So before you can do that, you got to do this. You can't just say, oh, well, go ahead and get married. It's no problem, and ignore the law, because that's the problem. Anybody that I know who's been divorced says the problem was the laws. I mean, of course, you got issues with marriage or whatever, but the law is the problem. That's the issue. With the family court, that's a whole big mess. Family court is a disaster. I mean, there's been some tragedies in family court. Yeah. There's a case right now that I've covered on my regular channel of the guy named James Younger in Texas. You heard of that? About the guy who was trying to save his son from being...
Oh, yeah, the one that got killed?
No. His son, so he got divorced, and his wife has his son. The wife is trying to make the boy be transgender.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That one.
And the court is kind of getting in the way. That's the problem. So they may have the right idea, but you got to fix the laws. And if we're not talking about that, then we're not really. It's a conversation that's rooted in fantasy and not reality.
Well, that's why I also talk again, coming back to that what they're coming from the Catholic, not just the Catholic, but the really traditional point of view, because with them they understand they understand the law, but they also know that the law doesn't set the objective standard. I think that's also what they're coming from.
They don't. They're going to say that until they get divorced, like Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
They'll say anything because they don't understand. They don't get it. Because I was the same way before I got divorced. I was like, nah, it's just. But then once I went through it, like, oh, okay, now I understand. But I didn't understand before.
Yeah, and also when it comes to the whole red pill thing, the red pill group. For me personally, from what I've been seeing and what they've been talking about, I don't think they're trying to navigate through the whole relationship situation, navigate through marriage. I truly think they are trying to completely avoid marriage. For one, because their whole view of what's a high value man, and their part of their belief of what makes a high value man is how many women they sleep with. They talk about how the women, the three or fours, are messing up the society, but look who they trying to look at the red pill community. Look who they sleeping with. I don't want to take advice with women and talk about how bad women are when you're sleeping with those type of women that all they want is money and sex, and that's what you're looking for because that's what you want to. That's what you desire. You want to fulfill your sexual desires to sleep with as much women as you want to seeing yourself as a high class man. Also, with Jason Waller, yes, Jason Waller. He's one of those people that the red pill community prop up, and how he talks about, oh, it's okay for a man to sleep around, and the women should deal with it as long as that man is taking care of you and treating you right. It's okay to let him cheat. However, they talk about how women should not be sleeping around having a high body count. The one more thing I want to mention about why I think that the red pill community want to completely avoid marriage.
Real quick, I got limited time, so real quick.
Okay, yeah, the part where Michael Knoll said, talk about sterile sex. I think where he was coming from when talking about sterile sex is when the red pill community was telling men to get vasectomies. They're telling the men to get vasectomies because you can't control your sex urges. That right there is another reason why I think that they also are playing a role in the destruction of society, as well as with the marriage, especially when you're telling young men instead of just telling the young man to try to control yourself, you're telling them to get vasectomies.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it's like men gonna want to have sex regardless. But the thing is, you gotta be responsible, and you got to do that in marriage too, because you're not trying to have your wife with 50 kids, but you're gonna have sex more than 2 or 3 times enough to have the kids that you have. So it's gonna be sterile with her too. You're gonna practice birth control as far as knowing when she ovulates and when her cycle is. You're gonna do all that. They got apps and everything. With married couples, they do that because you don't want to have a whole basketball team, football team full of kids. You want to have a limit at a certain point. Okay.
Yeah. But,
and then when she gets older, she's not gonna have a bunch of kids. She ain't gonna be 40 years old popping out brand new babies. So at a certain point, it's gonna be sterile at that point. I understand your point about that, but at the same time, he wasn't really being very serious because it's like, well, you're going to have that kind of thing regardless whether you married, single, or whatever. It's just a matter of who and the frequency of the partners. That's all. But thank you for your call, man. I got no time.
Yeah. All right, then.
All right, now. All right, but yeah, that's a whole conversation. I need to just do a stream over there, so we could go further into this, because that could be an all day conversation. I ain't want to cut my man off, but he had been on for a while. Great call, Victor. I appreciate you, man. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go 773. You don't learn who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for taking my call. It's almost funny, ABL, with this Fani Willis thing. You have to consider this, too. She said this in the church. I'm a black woman. I hired 3 lawyers at the same rate of pay, which I also read in the newspaper. Yes, I still get a newspaper on my front porch. That's true. They were, all 3 of those law firms were paid $250 an hour, ABL. One billed $90,000, one billed $73,000, and Nathan Wade billed $653,000. So that makes me wonder, and remember the old saying, if people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Well, here's the thing. If you got paid the exact same, you're billing for how many hours? Well, at $250 an hour for $653,000 total, that would be 2,612 hours a year. If you work 40 hours a week for 52 weeks a year without a day off, that's only 2,080 hours. 2,080 hours. So he worked another 600 hours. And so did he bill when they were on all those trips? Those are business trips, and he was billing because, they don't know what they've opened themselves up to.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Because remember about mail fraud, too. If you send through the mail a bill to somebody, you just committed mail fraud, which is a felony. So I don't know if they're going to be prosecuted for all of that, but I think it's evident that of the impropriety that took place here, and really the criminality. That's what really took place, a criminality. And then the thing about the migrants and New York mayor talking about, I'm going to save you money by this and that. And also the mayor of Athens, Georgia, that, Kelly Gertz, with the Miss Riley murder.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. They don't want to admit that their policies have caused this. So now the problem is slapping them in the face. All those illegal aliens in Texas, they are now there. It has cost Texas a lot of money to send some of the aliens to other places around the country and just to deal with them inside Texas. Because once a problem is there, you must deal with it. That's the reality of it. And it has cost Texas a lot of money, and it's going to cost New York and Chicago and Athens, Georgia, with crime and everything else. It's slapping you in the face. The mistake that the New York mayor made was that he tried to say it to the people on the news. I'm going to save you money. This option saves money. Yeah, you know what? That's probably the truth. That is probably the cheaper option. But the other option is that you were the cause of the problem in the first place. We have this problem that their policies have caused. So even if you completely close the border today, not a soul comes across the border, not a coyote comes across the border. We have a huge problem in this country. These people are here. They're going to cost us with security, with money, with housing, with everything else. They are here. Even to send them back will cost us millions of dollars, which is probably the best thing that could happen. I don't even know if that's possible. But, I just hate the fact that they start looking for solutions to the problem that they caused, and the water is still leaking from the plumbing. It's ridiculous. Their whole everything they stand for is just it goes beyond any kind of practicality. It just does. It's cutting your own nose off to spite your face. But anyway, that's my 2 cents this week, ABL. Thanks for taking my call. Great show as usual. Great content you put out. I appreciate the effort, and I know everybody else appreciates your effort. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, great call. And I think that'll pretty much be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you couldn't get on tonight, I'm sorry. Don't blame me, blame the white man, because you know it ain't my fault. I'll be back live again on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I couldn't do the show without you. And shout out to all the mods keeping the trolls in check, keeping everybody nice and above board. This is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. I got super chats to read right quick. I'll read those. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. And again, shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. All righty, let's see what we got here. Shout out to Elvin, who says most companies that will pay the $20 an hour minimum wage, the employees will work less hours. Also, this is why Trump is great. He has companies and knows the economics. It will be less hours for employees. 100%. Shout out to Bob K MIT, who says, I know it's not your fault, but I'm still looking for that 1 million YouTube badge. I don't know when I'm going to get that. Probably never. Because I don't know. Because YouTube, it's a love-hate YouTube has with me. They play a lot of games, but they keep me here because they know they don't have a real grounds to get rid of me, and I'm not going nowhere. Shout out to the back end. I got a person that I can talk to, but they're not really. It's like you got to do too much to try and really get them on the phone, or even to get them to communicate. Shout out to Ryan, who says, did you know that the CEO of Kellogg's is suggesting that we, the American public, eat Kellogg cereals, Copious Rice Krispies to combat inflation? This is how we can get by what I remember eating pancakes, bacon, and eggs. Yeah, I saw that where he suggested, it was an interview. I might do a video on that. I'm a little bit late to it, but I saw it when it happened. I just didn't do a video on it. That guy, the CEO of Kellogg's, was saying, hey, man, we can help fight whatever we got going on, eating a bowl of cereal for dinner. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not even a cereal fan because I don't drink milk. And I was always around people as a kid. They would put milk in the cereal. I never did anything like that. If I was to eat cereal, I eat it straight from the bowl. At that point, I might as well eat a loaf of bread or something because it's like, well, what are we really doing? I mean, it's just like when I saw people talk about, well, you know what? A good way to save money, stop eating. It's like, yeah, that's a great way to save money. Stop eating. How about become homeless, live in my car? That's a great way to save more money. I don't got to worry about, electricity bills and water bills and my rent, my mortgage. How about I just be homeless? That's a great way to save money. It's the same kind of concept. I'm being a little bit dramatic and extreme, but you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience. I'll be back live again on Wednesday, and I'm here pretty much every day putting out content. Please follow me on my other social media platforms. Go to my website, anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X. My email address is on there. Snail mail's on there. Don't get scammed by no Nigerians or no 100 million pound Lithuanians over in Eastern Europe. Don't nobody got time for that. And I will see you guys again next time. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out and peace.